All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Honest Truth, Truth Seekers Live. So good to be back with you all tonight. Yes, once again, I'm using Kevin Scamuel's name. I do not care. You can hate me all you want. I am used to the hate at this point. I was looking back and I realized, and I don't know if I discussed this a little bit last stream, but all the hard times and difficulties that I went through kind of prepared me for moments like these when I have to deal with the type of hate, the type of ridicule that I get. I had a family member reach out to me and she was pretty concerned. She said, I don't think you should be doing these types of streams and videos. You have a lot of haters and this and that. Coincidentally, the first video she saw of me was Coriander's video, and she's like, you need to just relax. And I said, nothing good comes without hard fought battles. It takes time, and what I'm speaking on is a passionate truth of mine. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have an excellent show planned for you today. Your patience is going to be well rewarded. I do appreciate everybody that stuck with the channel. That new intro is what I was trying to figure out for the last couple of minutes there. Hey, it was pretty cool, kind of dramatic. What are we gonna do? Anyways, I want to cover a couple of things before we actually delve into the main topic at hand. These will be relevant to the topic at hand. Make no mistake about it. However, I just want to talk about a couple of things and then we will get into it. I want to give a huge shout out, first and foremost, to our channel contributors, sponsors, to our donators, to everybody that's contributed a dollar, 50 cents, whatever it might be. To all the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. We're getting a lot of new traction by using Kevin's name. I hate to say it, but it's the brutal, honest truth. Finding a lot of new people to add to our community, and I'm so glad to be with you all. Tomorrow night, I will be on the Poor Man's Podcast. If you're watching this, the Poor Man's Podcast, I will be sending that picture that we spoke about in email. We're going to bring our community over that way. I will share it on my page tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. I will be on the Poor Man's Podcast. Huge shout out to our main ones that have been with us since the beginning. The Magnificent One is in the building. Loren is in the building. CEO of UniqueBoutiqueCandles.com. Make sure that you do check out UniqueBoutiqueCandles.com. Typing this in the description below. Also, to everybody that donated while we were offline, I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to you, to all the Cash App donators and people who donated without necessarily needing to see their name pop up on the screen. It means the world. Black Women Sisterhood in the building. Jedi Mike in the building. Let's get started really quickly. Let's get started. Make sure you like the building on the way in. Huge shout out to Beijik as well as our channel moderators. Got a lot to say today. We will be opening up the panel. We will be opening up the panel a little sooner than usual. Well, I can't even lie. No, we're not. It's going to take a while. What did I want to cover before we got into it? This is what I wanted to cover. The shaming tactics of black males and the cognitive dissonance that lies beneath. God, this is going to be a good show. I'm excited today. I'm excited. A few things I want to touch on before we delve in. The Fresh and Fit podcast recently changed their intro music to none other than Future. That's right, Future Vandross. 8 Baby Mother Future is what the Fresh and Fit podcast has changed their intro theme music to. You can't make this up. You heard correct. That's the podcast that's closely associated with Kevin Scamuels, Coach Greg Adams, Donovan Sharp, and all these other pedospheric content creators. They decided that Future was the necessary intro theme music to their content. Right? The intro music to their podcast that are centered in demonizing single mothers coincidentally happens to be the man that has created 8, possibly 9 single mothers. Okay, let's continue. Also, before we get started, I want to talk about the Future and Lori Harvey situation. We have a video discussing this, and it's relevant to the topics at hand. Once again, it's relevant to the topics at hand. I want to touch on this because we had a couple of subscribers and commenters last time explain this whole Future situation, and I didn't understand it at the time, but it's very pertinent and important that we discuss why this Future and Lori Harvey situation is important. This is brought to us by none other than the Impressive channel. Impressive is one of the biggest black female YouTubers. She is a very, very, very talented content creator. I'm going to play a clip really quickly, and then I'll explain why I'm playing this clip, just to kind of soften us into the message at hand. All right. Let me share this really quickly with y'all. All right. Let's check this out. Oh, well, I just played the wrong clip there. Let's go back. Here we go. It's bad broadcasting.
Back in 2018, she was dating Trey Songz. In fact, she was spotted on a date.
My computer is struggling
with
with me.
him,
Something like that.
and she tried to duck the paparazzi. And Future saw this, and he felt some type of way about it.
You ducked too late. I see you. I like that. It's cute. Cute. Keep it up. It's over for you thoughts. It's over.
Future spoken.
It ain't that time. It's over for y'all. The other thoughts made it.
So Future had a huge crush on Lori Harvey. He was pretty much in love with her. He was heartbroken that she is essentially living her best life, and he claimed that it was over for you thoughts, speaking directly to Lori Harvey in this instance. But let's listen to what Future ended up doing in the long run, and I'll explain this in a second.
It's bad for you.
But after Future called Lori out, he eventually got back with her,
What?
and they went public with their relationship in 2020.
So you mean they got back together after he called her out? They got back together. Okay. Why is that interesting? Why'd you want to play that, Jonathan? Let me explain why I wanted to play that. Often on this channel, we do speak about the shaming tactics that black men use against black women to try and strip them emotionally, spiritually of any confidence that they might have, reminiscent to our past day slave owners, right? Future insulted Lori Harvey using customary Kevin Samuels type shaming tactics, insulting her in various ways, then went right back to get with her. Right? Kevin Samuels even has this acronym. I think it's called SIGNS: shaming, insults, guilt, and then the need to be right, or something like that. It's the same thing that's happening for their savior, Future, right? Our community knows that most black men will sleep with anything walking. We'll talk about that later. But somehow Kevin Samuels' minions have convinced themselves that they are not attracted to the women that they continually insult. Future shows us the true nature of these hateful men, and it's no wonder why they worship Future yet demonize Russell. At the end of the day, they seek to emotionally and spiritually strip women of all confidence in an effort to control them. Future wanted to control Lori, right? But the only way his arrested, developed mind could convey this message of need was through sociopathic insults, fabricating a layer of feeble confidence that only masked his pain and anguish that he was feeling without her. You see, Future was jealous that he can no longer control Lori Harvey. Remember that last stream that we talked about black men's need to control women, since by and large they lack control, right, of most sections of society and economic systems. Not all, by and large. There are some black men doing very well for themselves and playing important parts in their family, right? Future used Kevin Samuels' SIGN acronym. Once again, we just discussed that: shaming, insult, guilt, and need to be right, to control Lori's public image and destroy her self-esteem. Just like we tell ladies on this channel, do not allow yourself to be controlled by men who offer nothing, just like Future offers, other than, I guess, monetary establishment for his 8 baby mothers. By and large, to our communities and public alike, do not give your emotional, spiritual, or physical state over to them and their demented, illogical thinking. There is nothing wrong with self-confidence, and Lori Harvey knows her worth, irregardless of whether or not the golden Dusty Future or low-earning Dusty alike tries to tell her otherwise. I just wanted to cover that. Let's go ahead and dive into the message today. I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Oh, last thing I want to point out, something that's very interesting, is that the manosphere somehow convinced its men that it's okay for men to be sexually promiscuous with women, but it's evil and abhorrent for women to do the same, as if the same repercussions that can happen from sex can't be experienced by men as well: STDs, childbirth, etc. But what I'm going to play to you now is a video of a black man by the name of Charleston White, as he explains the dangers of male promiscuity, particularly in the black community. Also, Charleston White will explain the role of fathers, or the lack of fathers, in the black community. But first, who is Charleston White? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. I didn't really know who Charleston White was at one point or another, but he is gaining popularity within the hip hop and or multimedia culture, whatever it might be. Charleston White, 52, is a well-known controversial figure online. This is him right here. This is his picture. Let me blow it up so y'all can see it a little bit better. Stick with me, stick with me. I know it take a while to explain things, but it is worth it all in the end. All right, Charleston White. Despite his checkered criminal history, Wright has managed to turn his life around, White, by becoming a motivational speaker, and is now a pillar in his community as well as an active member in his church, he says. White is the founder and CEO of Helping Young People Excel, HYPE, an organization dedicated to educating teens and helping deter them from turning to crime. So that's Charleston White right there. A black man who was at one point, it says, a Texas gang leader, went to jail for a crime. I think somehow in the process of his crime, somebody died. He went to jail for a long time. Now he's on a better path. The second video I want to show from Charleston White is him talking about black fathers and the crux of our message, right? The crux of our message, the little reason that we're talking about this today. Welcome to all 120 people watching. Make sure you like on the way in. Huge, once again, shout out to the channel contributors. Let's pull this up really quickly. Once again, we will be opening up the panel in a little bit. Give it a little bit of time. Patience is a virtue. So Charleston White was recently on a program called Say Cheese TV. He's a YouTuber, does hip hop and various other types of content. And they were talking about black fathers, what we're talking about today. And I want us to listen to what Charleston White had to say, because essentially what he's echoing is the same sentiment that I'm saying. However, the response that Charleston receives is a bit different from the response that I receive. I'll explain that a little bit later. Here's the links if you want to donate, once again, to support and contribute to the channel. I also do have an Amazon wish list, by the way. The items are somewhat wildly expensive, and so if anybody feels very extremely generous, like some of our contributors and channel members have been, that is the link to the Amazon wish list. It has a couple of items that I could add, and they're very expensive, so make no mistake about it. However, if you do decide, then God bless you. God bless you. All right, let us continue on. 1 second, let me make sure I have the right timestamp here. All right. Here we go. Sorry, my apologies. Just checking something. Yo, I'm doing bad today. Here we go.
Say by 18, 19, 20. You're already immature, right? So y'all get together, so y'all have this baby. 9 times out of 10, the black man, when he have his baby, is very irresponsible. No money management. He like to get high. He like to party. And he all about my niggas.
All right. So Charleston said something that was pretty powerful. So 9 times out of 10, and I'm going to play this again. Black man is irresponsible. Okay. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from somebody that is a part of the culture, a part of that environment, right? Let's listen to what he had to say one more time.
Children early, right? Say by 18, 19, 20. You're already immature, right? So y'all get together, so y'all have this baby. 9 times out of 10, the black man, when he have his baby, is very irresponsible.
9 times out of 10, when the black man has his baby, he's very irresponsible. Okay, very irresponsible. Now, I want to play Charleston White in this situation because essentially what we're saying on this channel is the same thing he's saying, but somehow the response that Charleston White gets is very different from the response that I get. You see, I'm insulted and called a pander bear. I'm insulted as if I'm the one that's holding back the black community when we have members and men of the black community who have been on the streets, who have interacted or delved into the type of men that call me a panderer. And he says exactly the same thing that I'm saying, right? I got to give a huge shout out to Silky70 for the $50 super chat. $50 super chat, starting it off strong. Silky70 says, new subscriber to your channel. I love the truth you put out. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Silky70 with the $50 bomb. Y'all have been very generous. I appreciate that. Now, let's listen to a little bit more of what Charleston White had to say as far as black fathers are concerned, and we'll kind of, disseminate some of our truths and similarities.
No money management.
He
like to get high.
Wow.
He like to party, and he all about my niggas. He may buy a few Pampers. So out the gate, he has no job. He has no way of providing any medical insurance or any health care for the mother of the child. What is she to do?
Yeah, I don't know if Charleston White's watching this channel. I know a lot of large YouTubers watch this channel. I've gotten messages from some of them. I've said this, and we say this all the time on the channel. Black women a lot of times are damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. If they choose to get with a man who they're trying to build with, in this case, it could be a pookie who isn't offering anything in return. If they choose to wait and wait for dating and wait for sex and wait to put themselves out there like that, then she's seen as non-desired. Right? She can't win in these situations, but in most of the time, she decides to actually go forward and to a relationship or bringing a baby into this world. What Charleston White is saying is the same thing that we're saying, which is that she's bringing a child into a very nefarious situation that offers nothing of economic stability for the woman and for the child, thus leading into another generation of essentially stunted development as far as adults can go, right?
Now she has to go apply for health care for her and her unborn baby, prenatal care, right? So now she got to get prenatal care. This is government health insurance. He don't have no job to provide it.
Right.
She need WIC.
Also, speaking on the job thing, we already know that almost 40% of black men are felony convicted. So when we're talking about the job thing in this case, it's very difficult, because if we have 40% of the black men already felony convicted, the jobs that they're able to get to begin with aren't going to be enough to sustain the women. So women have to essentially walk into a more masculine role and be the provider for themselves, right? One thing that black men always criticize and insult black women for, being more masculine. Well, when 40% of black men have felony convictions, it doesn't leave black women with much leeway or femininity to walk into a lot of the time. Charleston White is saying this, right? Let's continue.
So now they saying, okay, now once the baby get here, now the baby need insurance. Now the state ain't tripping long as the mama getting it. Now the baby is here. Looking, the state and the woman looking at the nigga saying, man, we got to put some insurance on this baby, nigga. What the nigga doing at this time? He ain't getting down about that baby. He happy just to have a baby, but he don't give a damn about the baby. He just grabbing his dick, hollering, I'm daddy. State saying, say, nigga, we got to take care of the baby. The baby got to have some doctor's appointment. Okay, nigga, mama apply for health care for the baby. Okay, so now the baby get health insurance. Now the state saying, okay, come here, nigga, we want your ass, because now we got to take care of the woman and the baby. Okay, here go your $5,000 a year, because this is what it's going to cost the taxpayer. So we going to charge you $5,000. So most niggas start out.
So what he's saying right now is he's essentially explaining how child support comes into being, into the state, right? This is how child support starts. Child support, by and large, in a lot of cases, isn't started by the woman. The state comes into play when they start saying, okay, well, in order for us to provide for this child, the father is going to have to do something and offer something in compensation for what we're giving to the child and to the mother, as far as insuring them, as far as making sure that they get prenatal care, as far as this, as far as that. This is why I always say that, and you can make fun of me for being dusty all you like to, but I'm not going to have a child until I'm ready financially to have a child. Because when you don't, and the state has to come into play, most of the time it's not the woman putting you on child support, but the state's going to look at you and then say, okay, well, you know what? You need to get on child support because we're going to hold you accountable, right? That word that we always talk about lacking in the black men of our community, accountability. I'll play a little bit more of this and then we'll get back into the actual discussion. All right. These aren't my words.
Like that. The bitch ain't put him on child support just yet. She normally still in love with him. They still fucking. She catching him cheating. He might catch her cheating.
So we'll go ahead and stop it there. I hate that he used the word, the B word, to describe women. But ultimately, he's telling the truth. He said the woman didn't put her on child support yet. She's still in love with him. She's still loyal to him. We know that black women are some of the most loyal as far as women go to their men, right? This is everything I've been saying. It just so happens that it's being spewed and retorted on a hip hop YouTube channel at this point. But I also want to show you, before I actually take that down, I want to show you the responses that Charleston White has been getting, because the responses that Charleston White is getting are a lot different from the responses that I'm getting. All right. And then we'll continue with our message as well. Once again, the panel will be open in a little bit. We have a couple of items to discuss, but I will open up the panel a little later on. Where did I put it? This is what bothers me. This is what bothers me. Also, I see that super chat. Give me 1 second. I'm going to read that super chat. Just making sure that I get to the comments. All right, let's read some of these comments really quickly before we continue. Just so we can prove a point later on in the stream, and I need you to see this because I need you to be able to understand why I'm talking about this. Garrison Smith says, "Maine, so true. Dudes just happy to say they have a baby. This is the reason for my living, and don't even spend time with their kids." Right? Let's see what else. What do people say about this? Every interview, I feel like he's talking about me, says NDO Luciano, but I don't get upset at him. I just get my stuff together. Keep interviewing him, say Cheese. Jay Styles said, out of all my homies, I'm about the only one whose parents were married before they had me, so they don't understand why I want to get married. I actually seen a marriage work. I actually seen two people fall in love and do what they do. Reasons why I haven't had kids yet, just laying pipe, crying emoji, right? So these are the comments that they're getting. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let me read this $5 super chat. $5 super chat from IK. Thank you so much. THT has been sent to us by the gods. No cap. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Let us move on with our discussion. Very kind. You see, sometimes people don't really take advice or heed advice unless it's given to them by one of their own, right? For instance, we can all remember that popular youth correctional television program, Scared Straight, right? Remember Scared Straight? They had these big old people yelling and screaming at these kids and cursing at them. And it was aimed at how at misguided high-risk youth who were on their way to a life of crime, jail or misery. Now, some of the kids changed and some didn't. But for the kids who changed, it was seeing members of their peer group give them the same information that they had been hearing from guidance counselors or teachers or parents or any other responsible members of the community. If you look at this video, there is very little resistance to anything that Charleston White said here, right? But if you read the hate comments and streams that I do every once in a while, those same people agreeing with Charleston White would be the ones in my comment section calling me an Uncle Tom or a simp or a panda bear. We already showed on the last stream addressing the haters how I've been making videos about the Black community since literally 2019 and 2018. Look at my last streams if you don't believe me. I am simply not in the realm of their peer group. Thus, anything I say is pandering. But when one of their own say it, no harm, no foul. Sometimes it takes criminals to teach criminals because they care not about the advice of someone who isn't walking in their shoes, right? This is the reality of the disconnect in the mindset of Black men in our community. Since a large portion of Black men have failed, they in turn take advice, wisdom, and leadership from fellow failures turned enlightened, when in reality, they could have avoided the failure from the very beginning by simply following the game plan that mainstream society has been preaching since the beginning of socio-capitalistic America. Go to school, don't do crime, work hard, right? Same things we talk about on this channel. $20 super chat from Toni Morrison, huge supporter. Toni Morrison, thank you so much. She says, Black men have always made it seem like Black women are child support Nazis. I'm glad he clarified that issue. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is why I wanted to play him, because when they hear it from somebody and from one of their own, like we just got done explaining, it hits differently, right? Hits a little differently. Now, we have already addressed the high amount of felony conviction rates among Black men in the Black community, but I want you to listen. We just listened to one of the felony convicted Black men in our community and what he had to say on who bears most of the burden in regards to high amount of children being born with no fathers in the Black community. A website called ifstudies.org. ifstudies.org. Let's pull that up really quickly. ifstudies.org. I didn't share the links in the description. I'll make her do that after this is posted so you can look at what I'm saying for yourself. ifstudies.org said this. The share of Black children born to single mothers has more than tripled from 24% in 1960 to nearly 70% in 2018, indicating that Black fathers are less likely to live in households with their children than fathers of other races. All right. Why did I say that? Why am I saying that? I'll let you know why I'm saying that. For all of those math majors who are in the manosphere, help me to understand this. And this is what I really have a problem with. This is what I don't understand. When the numbers are laid out directly in front of us, help me to understand this, my black Negrosphere brothers. If 70% of black children are raised without fathers and 80% of black men have children by the age of 40, let me say that again. If 70% of black children are raised without fathers and 80% of black men have children by the age of 40, explain to me how this does not indicate a level of monumental problem. Maybe this is too complicated for you to understand, but I'll say it this way. Most black men have children, but most children of black men have no fathers. So would that not mean that most black men are failing or have failed at fatherhood? It's simply the same thing that Charleston White is saying, right? It's the same thing. The numbers are literally telling us that majority of black men are terrible fathers. And I have proof of this. Russell Wilson, okay? A prime example of a man who fathers an entire family, both blood related and non-blood related, but is still criticized by most black men for being a simp, just as I'm criticized. Right? So don't try and tell me it's the black woman's fault when a black man steps up to be a father that 70% of children in the black community don't have. This is incredible, man. This is incredible. When a black man steps up to be a father that 70% of children don't have in the black community, black menospheric, pedospheric, negrospheric, ignorant brothers call the man a simp for doing exactly what they claim to want to see in the black community. You can't make this up. They demonize black women for being single mothers. Oh, this and that. Oh, black women have this and that. We argued. We got rid of all the statistics. The numbers are in. Most black men are going to have children at some point in their life. It's not this 20% black men have 80% of the children part. That's not even what we're arguing anymore right now. We're arguing the fact that even when a man does come to take the irresponsible man's children into possession, raise them with a good set of morals and values and an actual chance to prosper in socioeconomic America, they call the same thing that they claim isn't existent right in front of them. In the case of Russell Wilson, they call that a simp, and they call me a pander bear for promoting what they claim to want that's lacking inside the black community. Natasha Richardson, logic doesn't exist with them. This is just I mean, I'm constantly going deeper down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, this is just absolutely incredible. I need to find a new way to describe this. Cognitive dissonance doesn't even describe the amount of ignorance that most black men in the black community exhibit. This is incredible. I can't say that truly feel like these black men are controlled by the devil. I'm starting to drift over that way with you, IK. K. Lee says demonize them either way because if they abort the baby, that's the problem. If they're keeping it, it's still the problem. YouTube buffering. If YouTube is buffering, my apologies. I don't know if it's buffering or if you're just saying that as a comment. If it's buffering, I'm sorry. My internet's on some other stuff. With expectancy, with the $4.99 super chat says, my stepfather would say, a smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from others. But black men don't learn at all. And it goes back to the point to what I said earlier, is that I could sit up here all day and tell black men the exact best way to do it, the best way to get forward in life, just as I've been told, and just as I've come to realize, it's really not that difficult. People have given you the path to golden riches in America. We know that the more educated people make more money, right? It's simple. Money improves your quality of life, right? Money improves the justice system. I guess you could say prejudicely coming after you. Money helps out if you are so afflicted by child support systems, whatever it might be. Money can help with that. So it makes sense to me as a black man to get as much money or education as possible, because those two things can make my life easier if I'm so afflicted by police, if I'm so afflicted by my baby mother or the court systems, if I'm so afflicted. But like we're explaining now, there's no sense of logical thinking. If you're so afflicted by the black single mothers who are raising the children by themselves, then how are you also afflicted by the black males who choose to get with the black single mothers who are going to raise the children in a family group? You can't win. Tony Morrison says, what happened to the Amazon link? Let me try and bring up the Amazon link really quickly. And I'm going to say this one more time. We have some new people joining. Make sure everybody as well that you're joining, you check out uniqueboutiquecandles.com. Uniqueboutiquecandles.com, our channel sponsor. Let me put the Amazon link up one more time. And Tony, I mean, the items are kind of expensive on the Amazon link. I'm not going to lie. So nobody really has to buy those items. But if you feel, then by all means, they're expensive. So I don't know. I don't know anymore. 200 people watching. 200 people. Maybe one of you 200 people, if you're a hater, can help me to understand why that makes any sense. Why you still choose to ridicule the men who are providing family and stability to the women that you're demonizing for not providing family and stability in the community, aka the single mothers. We'll open up the panel here in a little bit because I know a lot of people have been emailing me and saying, open up the panel sooner because I have stuff to say. I don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to open up the panel in a couple minutes. All right. I'm making sure to do better on that. That's the Amazon wish list link for myself. Help me to understand. Help me help you, black man. Help me help you. I also want to share something that Lil Boosie said before we continue on with our discussion here. Now, you know when Lil Boosie's trying to give wisdom, when Lil Boosie's giving wisdom, then you know something's really bad, right? Lil Boosie said this. Can't believe I'm even saying this, crediting Lil Boosie for saying this, but I have to. Credit where credit is due. Boosie Badass said, damn, I don't never see y'all rappers with y'all kids for real, for real. Only a few. I be like, damn, I ain't never seen his kids with him. Just B words, SMH. People said facts, true. You gonna hurt some MNF's feelings, no lies, LOL. Right, like Snitch 9. You see, there's a propensity in black communities and black cultures for a large portion or majority of the men to essentially, I guess, not be in their father's lives. And Boosie, of all people, is starting to bring light to this revelation, right? Now, this makes sense because, like we just said before, the black men who choose to actually pick up the slack for the deadbeat fathers are ridiculed in the black community, right? You're admonished and you're called a simp. You're called a blue pill. And the word is, quote unquote, mangina. I don't mean to get very vulgar with that, but when you do decide to wed a woman, start a family of productive and well-established socio position in America, you're called a blue pill simp. You're called a loser. You're called a weak man, right? So the same men that they claim they want to exist in America, they insult in the same breath. Phew. Incredible. Incredible. Let's read some comments really quickly. Read some comments. Shout out to Boosie Badass. Shout out to all the channel contributors and everybody who does donate. You know, I appreciate y'all so much. You're the best. Lady Ado says craziness. You can't make this up. Art of Aries one says 65% of black men are middle class. What? Yeah, I don't. I think middle class is being used very loosely in this term. Jacoby McCovery says the same person who has an OnlyFans that degrades women. I don't understand that comment. I'm sorry, Jacoby. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Oh, we have a failure of the black community alert. Warren Calloway says, are women the gatekeepers to sex? The same questions. We get the same questions every single stream. You tired out Negroes say the same thing every single time. I get tired of answering the same question by you broke, negroid-minded dusties. I just don't understand it. I'm not going to even address that right now. You can come onto the panel if you'd like to, though. All right. Organic Black says even broken dusties are right twice a day. Kiana Foltz says the dude who had his kids molested, right? I heard about this situation where Boosie actually paid an escort to perform a sensual act on his 12-year-old child, admittedly. So take his advice with a grain of salt. But hey, you know what? As far as it goes, if Negroids are going to listen to Boosie and get some advice and actually do a little bit better in the Black community, God forbid, but let them listen to Little Boosie. Hey, we need as much help as we can get for these Negroids right now. And this is why you're starting to see women divest, right? Because a lot of Black women are starting to understand, you know what? I get a husband that can do well for me and provide. We're going to be made fun of. He's going to be made fun of. I don't want anything to do with y'all anymore. These kinfolk are not your kinfolk. $5 super chat just coming in. I'm trying to scroll all the way to it. Forgive me. $5 super chat from the Deadbeat Dad. Says KS never talks about fatherhood. The manosphere gives men passes for failing as fathers. It's sad, absolutely. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, Deadbeat Dad. I'm so glad you got to that point. So glad you got to that point. Everybody make sure that you check out the Deadbeat Dad's YouTube channel. He is a content creator. Give it a look-see. Hands with Golden Dove says they want younger women. No, you will not create a new generation of single mothers. Stay out of the club and learn husband skills. Well, that would take accountability, Hands with Golden Dove. Something that by and large a lot of Black men fail to obtain as a skill and as a life goal or desire. So all right, let's look at this really quick. I'm seeing a couple more comments. Let's move on. 227 people watching. Make sure you give it a like or a dislike. Believe it or not, if you dislike, it still does help my algorithmic ratings. Let's continue on with this conversation a bit. We will open up the panel here in a little bit. Stick around. Stick around. The irony. Now, I want to talk about somebody really quickly. There's a man by the name of Alpha Male Strategies. Some of you red pill men will know who I'm talking about. AMS is a Black man who teaches alpha male tactics and strategies, how to become the most alpha, how to hold masculine frame, how to get all the women. His main goal in life, self-admittedly, is to lay with as many women as possible. Believe it or not, this man has a cumulative following of almost, I would estimate, 700,000 total. All right. But what I want to do right now is look at specifically the message that he's preaching and how it relates to the lack of Black male fathers in the Black community. You're going to get a kick out of this. This is going to be pretty entertaining. Let's watch AMS explain his position and the role of Black men in relationships nowadays. Once again, I can't make this up. Let us listen. All right.
Chick and a hotter chick, you meet a hotter chick before that date gets here, like say Saturday, and you meet another chick before then, and you feel like, hey, I'd rather go out with this chick than that chick I got with Saturday, you're going to cancel the date Saturday. Why? Because it's in your best interest, because you met a hotter chick. Now, let me tell you something. How many times have women canceled dates with you? Why do you think they canceled dates with you? Something more entertaining. It didn't have to be a guy. Her friends could have came up with something. Her co-workers could have came up with something. Whatever the case may be, something more entertaining came before you. She found something else better to do than spend time with you. So she's going to flake on you to go do that. You come fucking first. Get rid of that fucking nice guy behavior. Nobody comes for you. You're fucking selfish. If you got a date set up on Saturday night with a chick and a hotter chick, you meet a hotter chick before that date gets here, like say Saturday, and you meet another chick before then, and you feel like, hey, I'd rather go out with this chick than that chick I got with Saturday, you're going to cancel the date.
So Alpha Male Strategies, once again, is a content creator that teaches men how to be the best version of themselves, right? Treat yourself first. You come first. Irregardless of anybody's feelings, irregardless of if a woman actually did have something legitimate to do, God forbid that something pops up unexpectedly in somebody's life, right? You come first. Coincidentally, he is black. Is there any coincidence that a black man who has amassed nearly the same amount of followers as Kevin Samuels is preaching the type of message that lends itself over to the black community raising children at a 70% rate without fathers in the household? This is the destruction of the manosphere. This is the destruction of the pedosphere. This is the destruction of black men in the black community. And most black men feel the way that he feels, right? The lack of emotional development, the lack of emotional integrity, the lack of maturity to tell oneself that, okay, you know what, she canceled, it is what it is, and move on in life. No, instead, you have to somehow get her back, or you have to somehow be the first one to do damage to her because she might just cancel on you, right? She might just flake on you. She might be cheating on you, creating this type of paranoia inside of a man's mind, right? Before any damage or any mistrust or any malfeasance actually happens in the relationship to begin with. It's already being implanted into the kids' souls. What you just got done watching was a video on TikTok. All right. Most people over the age of 35, 45 don't have TikTok. This is directed to younger kids. This is directed to teens and young adults, right? Okay. I just want to say that. Almost 700,000 cumulative followers. Okay. His message is heard near and far. Avoid women. Avoid being the traditional man in society, even though they berate women for being non-traditional. Cognitive dissonance, right? Because at the end of the day, you're the one that matters. Now, it's no surprise why the cognitive dissonance is just on new levels with alpha male strategies, because there's nothing alpha and there's nothing strategic of what he's saying whatsoever. It's just arrested development from a very hurt state of mind. That's what you hear talking in the form and the embodiment of a grown man. It's a very hurt and a very shallow and a very evil and sadistic man. And once again, I'll never understand why black men get so upset at me for actually having morals, integrity, for treating people right, because essentially what they're saying is they'd rather somebody like AMS interact with their daughters. They'd rather somebody like Coach Greg Adams interact with their daughters. They'd rather somebody like Kevin Samuels interact with their daughters. I wouldn't want a man like that interacting with my daughter. Maybe because I love my children, or my children that I haven't had yet. Maybe because I actually care about my future generation and lineage. But you know what? We see that most black men don't care about their future generation and lineage. So it makes complete sense why AMS would have full support, or Kevin Samuels, or Coach Greg Adams, or any of these other pedospheric 50-year-old men that are telling you to go after junior college age girls. It makes sense why you'd support that. Because at a 70% rate without black fathers in the home, that adds up. The math is mathing perfectly. That makes sense. It's the one thing that does make sense this stream. Got a couple super chats to read right here. Got a couple super chats. Huge shout out to everybody that's super chatting. Y'all have been awesome. Loren says, I've seen a lot of his content. He is such a Neanderthal. I can picture him saying, me Tarzan, you Jane, right? Bonk, hitting me on the head. Idiot. Kiana Foltz with the $5 super chat says, they want young men as miserable as them. Absolutely. As miserable as them. The Queendom says his channel should be called Narcissistic Strategies. Absolutely. Oh, here we go. We have another failure in the community. Archer ain't... I don't know. These guys come on here with these weird avatars. Everybody else has like a picture of them or maybe a logo that they've designed for the side business. And the dudes come on here with cartoons and anime and stuff like that. WTF, y'all simps. Right. I know. God forbid that I'm trying to teach men how to treat your sisters better. God forbid. Right? God forbid I'm trying to tell men to treat your mother and your grandparents better. God forbid. Simp. Having morals in the black community, in the black manosphere, makes you a simp. Tony Morrison says, THT, something's wrong with Amazon. Resend the link. I'll try to really quickly. Let me try to. Amazon.com. Let me look at this. Not sure what exactly is going on with my shopping list here. I was trying to figure it out, and all right. So let me try one more time. Let's try this. Oh, maybe it's okay. It says it's public. I'm posting the list one more time. There we go. Oh, I'm opening up the panel here in a little bit. Alexander Brandon, $5 super chat says, THT, I can't be on here for long because I have to support Diamond Princess, and she's doing a live right now. Go ahead, Alexander. Go ahead, Alexander. I appreciate you being here. We'll see you soon, okay? I posted the link again. Tony, let me know if that link works, or if it doesn't. I'm not going to lie. I don't have any idea how Amazon wishlist works. 262 people watching. Some of the failures of the Black community in the building. Not all. Some. Not all. Let me know if that works for you. Let's continue on with our rhetoric. Let's continue on. Huge shout out to everybody that's contributed and donated. I'm posting the PayPal and the Cash App links again. A lot of goals, got a lot of goals, a lot of things I'm trying to do for the channel. So forgive me if I'm posting the links too much. You're not obligated to donate, y'all. You're not obligated to donate. It's awesome when you do. I have a few more things to say, and I'll open up the panel. What you just witnessed is a mindset of most Black men in the Black community. AMS is a YouTuber who's part of the manosphere. With around 500,000 subscribers on all platforms, his message is heard near and far. Avoid women. Avoid being the traditional male in society. I just said that. I had to play one more video. Sorry. One more video by AMS. I have so many links to play today. It's like all over the place. One more video by Alpha Male Strategies. Here's another good one. Y'all going to love this. One more video by an alpha masculine Black male in our community.
Beta male providers. So if you become a beta male provider with a woman, right, and you just say, hey, I got my shit together, I got this dime, what ends up happening is you'll always be having those insecurities. Now, the reason why you're going to have those insecurities is women cheat on you. And what women do is when they fucking around on you, what they do is from time to time they'll slip, but you can't catch them fully. But you'll just know that shit didn't add up right. Y'all guys understand what I'm saying? You'll just know, man, that shit, that shit just didn't, why she didn't return my call for 3 hours? Well, her phone went dead. Well, it could have went dead, but it's just.
Why she didn't return my call for 3 hours? We speak about this control that Black men always need to have. Control. What you're seeing is somebody who is narcissistic, sociopathic, and probably borderline schizophrenic at this point. And there's nothing wrong with any type of mental disease or anything like that. Mental support, mental health is very much needed in the Black community, particularly with the Black men. All right. Particularly with those who deem and decide that they want to be the leaders, who want women and the rest of the community to follow after them. Right. Here you have a man that's instilling hatred, instilling worriness, instilling paranoia into the minds of people who haven't probably even experienced what he's talking about right now. He's telling you that if a woman doesn't answer the phone, if a girl doesn't answer your phone call, she might be cheating on you. It's been 3 hours. What are you doing? She's probably cheating on you, right? There's a million things that any of us could be doing if we don't answer the phone call within 3 hours. More than likely, it has to do something with work, right? And even if she was cheating on you, it's still not healthy for you to automatically assume that that's the case. All right? Because what are you going to do even if she was cheating on you? The only thing you can do is break up with her, right? And so this ends up being a really touchy situation and subject, because if she's not cheating on you and you're starting to operate under this weird paranoia, nagginess, not masculine, might I add, really childish. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, why didn't you call me back? Hey, are you cheating on me? I don't trust you. Let me see your phone. Women don't like that. There's nothing that'll drive a woman quicker or quickly away from you. I don't even, you know what I'm trying to say. Can't even talk right now. Hold on one second, guys. I got to turn my air conditioner on. It's like, I'm like frying. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. This is like bad radio. Bell G says, don't call me at work. All right. 270 people watching. Almost 300. We are in the building. All right. Yeah, I was frying. I was like, why is it so hot? This thing is thick. Also, by the way, in case you're wondering what I'm wearing, this is Benny Pavor. I'll put it in the chat box. It's a Black male-owned clothing designer, and he has, how do I spell this? You know, the designer, man. Pouv. Jeez. Benny Pavor. He had a huge sale on his Instagram. Try and Google him or Google that. You'll find some of his clothes. And I wanted to support him a long time ago. I bought this probably a year and a half ago. It's reflective, and so when car lights and certain lights in the club shine, these letters glow in the dark. It's really cool. It's really cool. Benny Pavor, check him out. Cool guy. I think you were getting black. Yeah, about a long time ago. I decided to wear it tonight. Anyways, getting back to the alpha male strategies. God forbid you call your girl and she doesn't pick up the phone, as if she doesn't have a life too. Once again, going back to that slave master type mentality that black men need to have over their women, that control that they always need to have. Let's continue with this video really quickly.
Shit just don't fucking add up. So
Right.
you'll go crazy half the fucking time, because half the time you'll stumble up on some shit and you're catching some shit, and you might can't catch her, but you just women always cheat on beta male providers.
All right. So women always cheat on beta male providers. So when you have a channel like this who has 500,000 subscribers telling black men specifically that women cheat on beta male providers, what do you think is going to happen? Eventually, most black males are going to decide that they don't want to be traditional providers in relationships. Now, also, and often we talk about the cognitive dissonance, but once again, just yet another example of cognitive dissonance. You can't claim that the black women aren't raising kids with fathers, aren't becoming wives. You can't complain that all these single baby mothers are out here when at the same breath you're telling black men not to be beta male providers. It just doesn't add up. That makes no sense. And you wonder why 70% of kids in the black community don't have fathers. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Contradictions. It's like, dude, what? What? Let's continue on really quickly. Opening up the panel soon. I know some of y'all waiting. I just have to say a couple more things. All right. The irony of what we just heard is unfathomable, and I'll explain why. The Paedosphere and Kevin Scamill's minions love talking badly about single mothers, but will in the same breath talk badly about the males who actually contribute in two-parent households. I thought the problem was that both parents weren't in the house, but now it's a problem with both parents are in the house. Oh, well, he then tries to prove that why being a traditional male father is the worst thing for a man. Okay. The phrase "who hurt you" is an immediate response that comes into mind. Now, when women used to always ask me who hurt you, and I had a couple of those comments on my old videos, which have all been taken down now, it used to anger me at first, but now I do start to wonder that same thing is who hurt these dudes? What's going on, man? When did it go so wrong that this is the point in life that which you came down to? All right. Who hurt you? I literally wanted the same thing. I wanted the same thing. We can literally see a man that has borderline paranoia that if they provide for women, they will in turn be cheated on. This is dangerous for obvious reasons, but no more than the fact that it paints a no-win scenario for the youths and our young men that he markets his message to, right? Essentially, it is insecurities and anguish being planted into the hearts of young boys and young men alike. Anguish that has yet to be felt on a personal level, but yields the same hateful emotional state nonetheless, right? When my father went to college, all of his friends, and I do use that word very loosely, right, told him that he wouldn't be able to get into the major university that he got into. The reason for this was because they themselves lacked the drive and GPA needed to get in university. So instead of trying to encourage my father to do something that they couldn't, they turned into crabs in the bucket. My father ended up getting into university and graduating. The rest is history. So what am I saying? Well, if my father had decided to listen to those that he thought cared about him at that time, his life would have turned out dramatically different. What was marketed to him as good advice was instead the worst advice any human being could give to him at that point in his life, right? But what would you expect from a group of people who have collectively failed in just about every other aspect of life? I.e., a two-time divorced marriage counselor. Now I'm going to open up the panel. I have one other thing to say. If you want to hop on the panel, you're more than welcome. I have a few more things to say, so I'll keep you in the background for a while. Try not to go too long. It's almost been an hour, so I'm trying not to go too long. You agree, disagree, whatever it might be. There's the link to join the panel. Sports Illustrated magazine wrote an article a long time ago. This is sad, right? The name of the article was "Where's Daddy?" Right? This is kind of borderline racist, but in some aspects, but I mean, it kind of does have a pretty big point. We'll go down to the quote here in a second. I see you in the background waiting. This was the article. You can barely see it, but it says one NBA star has 7 by 6 women, 7 children. Paternity cases have disrupted teams. What's happening, and what does it mean for kids left behind? Where's Daddy? Welcome to the panel, gents. I'll add you in 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I just want to read this, and then we will go on with our discussion. But the point in this article I want to read is down below. Very interesting study that SI did. Now, Len Elmore was a statistical, I guess you could say, analyst in the NBA at the time. And she said, for numbers, I would guess that 1 out of wedlock child for every player is a good ballpark figure. For every player with none, there's a guy with 2 or 3. Some experts contend that sports competitive environment encourages athletes to try and prove their masculinity through sexual conquest. In the world of sports, physical and sexual prowess play a big role, says Elijah Anderson, a sociology professor at Penn who specializes in urban culture. The physical emphasis, the independence, and the doing a battle. I could not read or talk today. I'm sorry. It's one of those days, guys. You'll have to kind of put up with me. I'm sorry. Most of the time I can talk pretty fluidly. I'm off today. The physical emphasis, the independence, the doing of battle with other men all underscore the male identity and dominance. All right. They go on to say this: the consequences of this mentality can affect athletes and their teams, just as it can affect the black community. Wouldn't you know? Praising Future for being able to lie with a whole bunch of women and making him the theme song in your Fresh and Fit podcast. Wouldn't you know, right? Take the case of Cleveland Cavaliers forward Kemp, who is not married, but who at 28 has fathered 7 children, according to Gerald Phillips, an attorney who represented him in a paternity suit filed by Charlotte Osana, the mother of Kemp's 2-year-old daughter, Dominique. A source with the Seattle Supersonics told SI that Kemp's well-publicized meltdown while playing for Seattle last year resulted primarily from the increasing pressures of paternity and child support obligations. It wasn't a drinking problem, as reported at the time. So pretty much this man's irresponsibility, and what is, I think, more important to discuss, one of the best or highest earning type of men in the community, i.e. the golden dusties that seem to plague most of the high earning black men that we've experienced come onto the panel and speak on this channel as well, right? The well-to-do black men still
like you guys are so like
aren't able to get it together.
I don't know what that even means.
I'm gonna add you on 1 second. Still aren't quite able to get it together. Moreover, they see creating families, they see lying with women as conquests, as this crusades of sorts. And we know that in the community, right? We know that in the hoods and things like that, dudes talk about how many baby mamas they got, how many bad chicks that they got knocked up, or whatever it might be. And essentially, to some extent, you are valued by the type of women and how many women that you can get with. That determines your value, right? Now, it's not designed to be that way, but a high value man, it is designed for him to be able to have access to women or a woman. However, that's an indirect consequence of him getting on his game. It's not a direct consequence, and it's not the only reason that every man should try and be high value or the highest earning they can be. It's simply a reward, quote unquote, in some essence, for being on your game. Welcome to the panel to a couple of men that we have here. Network 44, I recognize you. Archer is in the building. Our anime man Siamese Cat is in the building, as well as Truck Motivation. For the simple fact that Truck Motivation is on camera, I'll let him go first. And it sounds like he has women beside him. Archer, you'll go next. Network, I've seen you before. You'll go next. And Siamese Cat, I just want you to kind of listen for a while. And then Siamese, you can kind of input as you please. You'll go last. I do appreciate your input also, Siamese. Truck Motivation, I think you were on last time, but it's good to see you again, Truck Motivation. Where do you stand on this situation? Also, if you want to join the panel, Darley wants to come on. I'll post the link again. Go ahead, Darley. Truck Motivation.
Yeah. Simping isn't right, man. But at the same time, you need two. You need balance. You're gonna have your simps. You're gonna have your alphas.
Now,
right?
now, describe to me what is a simp. Describe to me. I don't understand.
I mean, to me, I might not have the politically correct definition, but a simp is somebody that will pander to women to get what he wants. He's not gonna lay down the law and do what he thinks he needs to do. He's gonna tote the line of what women say they want in order to
So
get.
let me ask you, is what I'm saying essentially simp?
You know what? I don't think you're a simp still, to be honest. I think like, you're doing what you're doing, like you're out here, you're making a way for yourself, right? So I wouldn't put you in that category because you're kind
Well,
of
who
going
would?
against the machine as well, right? So
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Who would be a simp in your opinion? Is Derek Jackson? Would he be a simp?
nah, he's not a simp either.
Well, who would be a simp? I guess. Or what would a simp say? What would I say that would make me a simp? Essentially, I'm just trying to
What could
figure
you
out
say?
who the simp
You
is.
could like
Yeah.
like I probably say some things like an actual like full blown simp. Probably like a dude that would be like you know like a dude that you would see at like a roommate like a slut march or something like that. Like something that has nothing to do with men that a man would be there trying to support. Be like, why are you there? Like this is for
Okay.
women. Like you're trying to gain their favor by being there. But
Okay.
it's not gonna work. You get what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, I hear you a little bit. I hear you. I kind of get what you mean. And I think that the slut walk is a particularly interesting case because essentially what they're trying to stand for is the fact that, well, if you're going to demean women for being sexually promiscuous, then you can't allow men to do it as well. So a lot of the men that represent that slut walk aren't necessarily saying that they advocate for women to just be completely promiscuous. That might be an indirect message that they're saying. But what they're saying is it's not fair for men to be able to be promiscuous and socially acceptable and then the women not. So it's kind of a two-way
Yeah,
street with
but
the slut
you know
walk.
what? Double standards exist, bro. Women have double standards that work for them, and we have very few double standards that work for us. And I would
Right.
never give up the few double standards that we have for the many that women have. It just doesn't make sense. Any
Sure.
dude that gets mad about stuff like that.
We can kind of address the double standard. I just wanted to kind of clear that up. See, the problem, Truck Motivation, I'll put you on mute for a second, is that a lot of men would call me a simp. So I'm glad you don't think I'm a simp necessarily. But most men don't feel the way you do. And I want to go on to another one. Archer, perhaps he feels differently. This is Archer's first time on the stream. Welcome to Will and Jedi Mike as well as Shantae. I'll have you all on in a second. Archer, the floor is yours. Am I a simp for what I'm saying, Archer? Archer?
Can you hear me, bro? Sorry about that. I turned on my phone and the Wi-Fi connected. My bad, bro. First of all, I want to address what just was talked about. There's no such thing as a double standard. Because I came here to talk about something else, but there's no such thing as a double standard. Women have a standard, men have a standard. There's two standards. If you don't like, we'll get
to that. We'll get to that. But I want you to answer the question first. We'll talk about double standards later because we can kind of go on that for a while. So what is your feeling on what I'm saying now? Am I a simp for telling or exposing the true nature of black men or the lack of fathers that black children have in the communities? What I'm saying, essentially, which goes against the manosphere and men like Kevin Scamos who choose not to address this, right? They only hold the women's feet to the fire. They don't hold the men's feet or hold men accountable at all, right? Is what I'm saying simp behavior, or am I really actually, do you see that I'm trying to truly help out the black community? I'm curious.
Well, it is simp behavior, and it's very incorrect.
Okay, so what is a simp in your opinion then?
A simp is somebody who portrays a narrative that, whether true or false, and whether to his best interest or not, just to get women's favor.
So do you think the narrative that 70% of children are raised without fathers is a false narrative?
Yes.
So you know that this is an actual anatomical factual number. You know this, right?
Yes.
Provided by the U.S. So how is that false?
Well, the false narrative part are raised without fathers. See, the number is 70% of kids are born out of wedlock. The without fathers part, that is speculation. That is a conjecture. That is adding on to those numbers when the numbers are just out of wedlock births.
Okay. So let me ask you. Let me ask you a question, Archer. Let me ask you a question. Do you have, or did you have both parents in your life?
Yes.
And did most of your friends have both parents in their life?
Yes.
Okay. So from your own personal experience, you can say that everything that I'm saying for the most part is pretty much false.
Yes.
Okay. So let me get something clear then. You were saying at this point that all black men, most black men are fathers to their children. Is that's what you're saying?
I'm not saying all.
But most black men are fathers to the children.
I would go with the vast majority, most anything 50 plus 1, most. Yes.
Most being 50 plus 1. So barely most is what you're saying.
Well, If you were to put a number, I'd say about 70% of black men are fathers to their children.
Right. Well, so you said 70% is out of wedlock, right?
That's just an educated guess on my part. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, let's just assume that you're right. Let's just assume that it's 50% of fathers are in their child's life, which I'm not sure how exactly we're going to come to that number, but let's just assume that it's 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That still, even if we were saying that you're right, is a very, very, very big problem. Would you not agree with that?
If it's 50%, that is a problem. But if it's 70%, I say that's par for the course.
So either way, whether it be 70% of males aren't in their children's life or 50% are in their children's life, it's a lose-lose situation. And so how am I saying anything that's not factual? I don't understand.
Are you saying it should? Well, the infactual part is that 70% are not.
Okay, but I'm saying let's just give you the credit and say that I'm wrong here. I'm just saying let's agree that 50% or 51% are. Does that make it any better?
No, it doesn't, because you're sitting
okay.
Up here,
so what are we really arguing here? Is my question.
We're arguing the fact that you're sitting up here painting a bad image of black men.
I don't have to sit and paint a bad image of black men as fathers. The black community is a direct response. The lack of economical progress, the lack of entrepreneurship and businesses in the black community, the amount of crime, the amount of felony convicted black men is a direct response and a representation of the lack of fathers in the black community. You understand that, right?
No, it's not.
Really? So you don't think that the leaders of the community, who seem to be missing in most of the households, is not somehow correlated to the lack of progress in the black community? It's just a coincidence that somehow the least educated, most convicted, least earning men also have the least developed economic system in socio-capitalistic America? It's just a coincidence?
It's not a coincidence, but there's a different reason besides fathers, because most black fathers are there.
Okay. So most being 51%. Well, we can go back and forth on this for a long time. Archie, I'll put you on hold for 1 second. I want to come back to you and kind of talk. A $10 super chat from A Patty says, black men have out of wedlock children with all races of women. It's funny how non-black men don't seem to have these issues with black women, though. The issue is mainly black men. Black women need to divest and vet all men carefully. Thank you for the $10 super chat. There's a $5 super chat. I want to read it really quickly. It's a lot of comments. I'm sorry if I missed the $5 super chat. I can read it. I cannot bring it up, though. Toni Morrison said this. She said, black men are so embarrassing and immature, using words like simp. Black women should refuse intimacy with these men. And the bigger thing is this: even if you are correct and somehow the 70%, whatever it might be, number of unwed, out of wedlock, that's still not a good statistic in that case anyway, right? We know that marriage and the unity of marriage is beneficial on the business side for tax purposes, and it is a more serious covenant and relationship, and it pretty much holds both sides more accountable for raising a family and sticking together through the hard times. Once you get married, once you sign over both of those names, it becomes a little bit more serious, right? Marriage offers stability. And so assuming that, once again, it's not 70% of men that aren't in their house or whatnot. I have to put you on mute for a second. I'll have hear a lot of feedback. The fact that 70% of children are born out of wedlock still isn't a number, Archer, that's like, oh, well, this is better, because it's not that they're born, or the father's not in the house. It's just that they're born out of wedlock. That's not much better, in my opinion. That's kind of like, I don't know. That's kind of like driving a car and the engine blowing up, and you're saying, well, at least it's not the transmission, because the transmission would be $5,000, but the engine only costs $2,500. It's but you kind of don't want any part of the car to blow up. That's serious in that case.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
See, what you're making it seem as if black men don't want to get married. You're making it seem as if black women are just sitting out here waiting to get married. They all just want marriage, or at least a vast majority of them just desire marriage and want marriage so bad. Now, if that was the case, and most of them did want marriage, they would force a man to actually get married with them before they sire his child.
Right.
I mean, it's not hard. I've been with plenty of women, and I know the women. If your woman doesn't make you wear a condom, it's safe to say she's okay with having a baby with you.
Would you assume that most women would, at some point or another, like to have a fairy tale wedding? You know that women do dream of having a dream wedding. You know that, right? Would you agree to that? So why would you say that most women don't want to get married? I don't understand.
Because at some point, and that key point is some point. They can you can get married whenever you want to get married, but you have to realize if you're 40 trying to get married, that some point is going to make it at that point.
Most women don't dream about getting married when they're 40, Archer.
Well, most women don't want to get married in their 20s neither.
I can't answer that because I'm not a woman. If I had to assume, most women don't see themselves getting married in their 40s. Maybe it's 30. I don't know what the age is, but I'm telling you, most women do want to get married. So I can't let you say that women aren't trying to get married because a lot of women dream about getting married.
Well, the average marriage time a Black American woman gets married is about 4 years later than when the average American woman gets married. The average American woman gets married at 28. The average Black American woman gets married at 32. So they typically get married later than other groups of women.
Who is the person that proposes the marriage? Is it the man or the woman?
The man. Who's the person that accepts the marriage?
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the propositions, okay? And this is why I have to say this. It's not the woman's responsibility to get down on a knee. Now, if the woman was the one that's responsible for getting down on the knee, then yes, I could understand your point of, well, the women want to get married 4 years later. But it's the men who are the ones responsible for proposing the ring. The woman simply has to accept. So it's not necessarily on the woman's time, bro. It's not on the woman's time.
It is on the woman's time because you're acting as if she doesn't have the right to say no. Or as if she wants it so bad,
you're assuming, Archer, you're assuming that you know the time frame that every woman or how or when every woman says yes or no. None of us can know that number. I'm simply telling you who proposes or initiates the rite of marriage, right? I don't know the time frame. I don't know if most women say no for a while or if they say yes. We can't know that. I'm simply telling you that men are the ones that approach women with marriage. It's not women who approach men.
But you also can't, just like you can't factually know how many women are saying no, you can't factually know how many men are proposing or not. So you're playing.
But that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant because men are it's not because men are the ones that propose marriage. Is that not true?
That is factual. You are correct.
Okay, and so like I'm saying, we don't know how many are saying no. We just don't know that.
And we don't know how
but I'm telling you that the men bear the brunt of the responsibility on the time frame of when they propose. So for that simple reason alone, more of the time frame of when when women get married is based off of the man's action for that simple fact alone, because men are the ones that are going to the woman with it.
That's incorrect.
You can say it's incorrect all you want, but it's the man getting down on one knee.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Hey, listen. It doesn't matter when the woman chooses to accept it or deny it or this or that, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's the man coming to her.
Bro,
okay, so we don't know how many are saying no.
Bro, following that line of logic, we don't know how many women are saying no. Following that line of logic, you don't factually know how many men are proposing.
But we know that the men are the ones proposing, do we not?
We do know the men are the ones proposing.
Okay, so let's just leave it there. We can argue for all day on that. The men get down on the knee to propose, and then the women say yes or no. Whether or not they choose to say yes or no, I don't know. But I know that the men go to the women first. And we've heard, by and large, that most Black men, especially high-earning Black men, don't want to get married in the Black community. They've come onto my channel and said that specifically. So we can agree to disagree on that note. Let's move on. Network 44, I know that you're in disagreement and somewhat agreement. It's good to have you back onto the panel. The floor is yours.
All right. I purposely think some Black women actually go out there to become baby mamas. Let's take Future, for example. All right. From what I understand, this guy has 10 kids and 9 baby mamas, allegedly. Mm-hmm. And so we're doing ourselves a great disservice if we sit here and pretend that the 9th baby mama, all the way up to the 3rd baby mama, did not know that this guy was out here getting it in. All right, let's stop, because if we start with that premise, then we're being dishonest. So these women, for example, if you date Future, you know this man is gonna make you a baby mama. So why are these women still sleeping with him? It's the same kind of men that are creating all these babies in the community. You know, I keep saying. You know,
we've already addressed the statistic that 80% of men by the age of 40, Black men have children. You know that, right?
Yeah, we've addressed it, but
so the creation. Hold on, the creation of baby mothers. It only goes so far in that argument because 80% of Black men have children by the age of 40. So most Black men, most of you guys on the panel right now are going to have kids. All right. So the large amount of baby mothers that Future has, that could maybe be an argument for maybe another time, and we could talk about that. But most Black men are going to have kids at some point in their lives. Okay. The statistics aren't just solely based off of Future. Okay, the statistics that we talk about, Future doesn't contribute to 90% of these statistics. Future is a one-off case in this instance. Most black men are going to have children. Okay, a lot of black men are going to have multiple baby mothers as well. There's a lot of men other than Future that have multiple baby mothers. Okay, so Future's a one-off case. Future's also a rock star. Okay, so let's not be disingenuous to ourselves. Okay, Future's a multi-millionaire rock star. Future is the highest echelon of desirability as far as men goes. We can't compare normal situations to Future because Future is not normal. Okay, Future has appeal. You're gonna have to accept that. Future is a multi-millionaire, and some women are willing to live that type of lifestyle. Right? That's just a fact of the matter. We can't change that. However, what I'm also saying is that does not negate the fact that 80% of black men will also have children at a 70% out of wedlock rate. Future didn't make 80% of black men have children, right? Or 80% of black men or 70%, whatever it might be. Future doesn't control any of that. Those are independent of each other. Okay.
Yeah, but it still doesn't disprove my point that some women are going out there looking to become baby mamas.
Right, but most women aren't going to try and become baby mamas because most men aren't Future walking around, bro.
And also, just to piggyback,
hold on. Do you understand that, Network? You understand that most black men are nowhere close to Future. You get that, right?
I understand that, but
okay. So what I'm saying is this: most black women are not going to walk around to just be a baby mama to some random bum that's making 50,000. I can't say bum. 50,000 is good money, or decent money, average. Most black women aren't just going to go be baby mamas for a guy that's not, highly successful. Black men are not, by and large, highly successful enough in that aspect. Do you understand that?
I completely agree with that, but we still have to at least acknowledge the point that some of these women are out here trying to be baby mamas.
Right, but most of these women don't have the opportunity to become a baby mama like Future's baby mama, bro, because there aren't a lot of Futures walking around. Go ahead.
I'm going to piggyback of what he said previously. Why are these women having children with men that they're not married to? It's funny to me when
and it could be asked. I'll have to meet you on here. Why are the men not marrying the women? Because just like we just got done describing with the last gentleman, it's the men who ends up proposing the ring to the women. The men are the ones who are withholding access from marriage. Okay, so you need to be asking the men that question because it's not the woman that gets down on one knee. Just like Charleston White said earlier in the podcast or earlier in the broadcast. All right, the men are the ones that a lot of the times, in his words, string women along. Let me play that again for you really quickly. I'll unmute you in 1 second, but I want you to hear it because if I say it, you're not going to believe me. If I say it, you're going to claim that I'm pandering. But I'm going to let you listen to what Charleston White said about the situation and why most black men end up not marrying or they choose to not marry, or I don't even know what happens at a certain point, but why they're not married. And I want you to hear how the women treat the men in this case, okay? I want you to listen to this. Without you listening to this, and I don't think you were here for this part of the podcast, then everything I say will be completely null and void, and you won't understand why I'm saying it. But Charleston White explained why women have children with men out of wedlock. He explained it perfectly. And most of the time, it's no fault of their own because men control marriage. So you're asking the women why they're not married when they're not the ones that are responsible for getting down on a knee. I don't understand that.
Right? So y'all get together, so y'all have this baby. 9 times out of 10, the black man, when he have his baby, is very irresponsible.
Okay, so 9 times out of 10, when a black man has his baby, he's very irresponsible. Okay, this is a number. Let's continue a bit.
Money management. He like to get high. He like to party, and he all about my niggas. He may buy a few Pampers. So out the gate, he has no job. He has no way of providing any medical insurance or any health care for the mother of the child. What is she to do? Now she has to go apply for health care for her.
And I want to fast forward to one other point just so we can kind of get back to discussion. Hold on.
Put some insurance on this baby, nigga. What the nigga doing at this time? He ain't getting down about that baby. He happy just to have a baby, but he don't give a damn about the baby. Just grabbing his dick, hollering, I'm daddy. State saying, say, nigga, we gotta we gotta take care of the baby. The baby gotta have some doctors. So we gonna charge you $5,000. So most niggas start out like that. The bitch ain't put him on child support just yet. She normally still in love with him. They still fucking.
So the woman is still loyal. The woman's still in love with him. She doesn't put them on child support, whatever it might be. All right. This is the fact of the matter. Okay. Most black men in the black community are irresponsible. So the choosing pool for black women by and large is tainted off of the get go. It's tainted off of the from the start. It's tainted. Okay. Essentially, what you're preaching is for women to choose a better man, quote unquote, to not go for the dusties. Well, most black men are dusties, unfortunately. Okay. Now, if you truly had it the way that you had it, you would still have a situation of a very top tier echelon group of men having children with all of the women. Because if you wanted the women to choose the best man, then there's only so many of them. And so it still contradicts your point that women are always going around sleeping with the futures and this and that. Because technically, you would want the women to go around sleep with the futures and not the dusties. That's what you're saying. Okay. But do you understand what I'm saying, though? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand that. But so why are these women?
It's a contradiction.
Why are these women bringing children into this world when the outcomes are not good for a child who's raised in a single parent home? If that is your argument, if based on your own argument, right, that you've been going off in a past hour or so, if the outcomes are not great for a child who was born in a single parent home, why do black women keep on doing it? Are they going to take some responsibility for going out there and having
I think the bigger question would be, why are the leaders of the community not doing a better job with telling the men that they need to get their shit together? You're putting all the responsibility and onus on women when you yourself desire to be the leader. If you're going to be a leader, then you're going to have to accept the responsibility and get your shit together. I'm not going to hold women accountable for the lack of male leadership and male progression in the black community. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what leaders do.
I'm holding both accountable, right?
No, you can hold both accountable all you want. And I'll let you go right now, Shante. But at the end of the day, it is the leaders or the self-proclaimed leaders, the black males of the community, who bear the brunt of the responsibility. You can't ask for 50-50 from women and then get upset when they try and put their input on situations. You can't ask for 50-50 and then expect total submission. If you want total submission from women, then you got to accept the responsibility and the brunt and the weight of the responsibility that it carries or that it entails. Okay, that's why I tell the men specifically that they need to get it together. Make no mistake about it, the women out-educate you. So even when they have these children, they're in a better position to do better than you most of the time. All right. They're not as convicted with felonious crimes as men are. They create large amounts more businesses than black men do. These are facts.
I doubt it.
Okay. You can doubt it all you want. Goldman Sachs put $10 billion behind it. So your doubting doesn't change anything about it. Okay. The statistical analyzation of the numbers has been brought to light. These are facts. But it doesn't take away from the fact, once again, that you as a leader need to start holding the other failed leaders accountable instead of putting all your blame to women, because that's not what leaders do. Go ahead, Shante.
Okay, so my question is for Network 44. So if you're saying that black women shouldn't have babies, what's the alternative? Because eventually black people are just going to become extinct, right? Like,
there's well over 1 billion black people. I mean, not 1 billion black people.
Right, in America, we are 13% of the population.
Well, again, you have to choose better. I mean,
so you want us to choose white people, white men? Is that better?
I'm not going to get into that conversation. It's your life. You got to choose better. And if you're out here, Future as an example, if you have a guy who has had multiple baby mamas, and you become the 6th baby mama or the 7th baby mama, at some point, you're going to have to hold the bag. Because,
well, I mean, but by your logical reasoning, you should be happy that women are getting with Future, because technically they're choosing a better man, a higher earning man, right?
Well, if the outcome, remember, we're talking about outcomes here.
Right.
So having a kid in a single parent home is not necessarily the best outcome for a child, right?
Okay.
And so it doesn't matter if it's coming from a man who has Future's income or not. If we're trying to get rid of that outcome, then we would have to make sure that these women are picking, they're picking the best men to have kids with.
So the best man is the one that's going to put the ring on their finger, essentially.
Well, they should wait till they get married before having children.
Right.
Yeah, that should be the solution here. I'm going to give you a good example.
Are men waiting to have sex for marriage? Like, are men doing that? Like, do men sit back and say, "I'm gonna wait till marriage to have sex," or are they going out here and trying to sleep with as many women as possible?
It's only the men. It's only the women that are creating the babies inside themselves. It doesn't take the man to create it as well. It's just the woman that creates it.
You can have sex without having a baby. I don't know if you know that. Women have a lot more options not to have a baby after sex.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I get that. I'll stop you there. I know women just create babies inside of themselves. It doesn't take a man to create a baby. We're going to move on from that because it's always women's fault with men like this. This is why the black community continues to go nowhere. Will, welcome to the panel. Thank you for your patience. Good to have you here.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly, Will.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, I'm just kind of listening to the exchange, and I just have a little bit of pushback.
Sure.
You were kind of referencing that 70% of children are born outside of marriage, which is true. But then there's a survey that was just conducted that said, 2.5 black males were surveyed, and out of those 2.5 million, 1.7 million of them were actively in their
yeah, I'm not
child's life.
gonna get into the statistics and everything, man, because everybody apparently graduated from the Harvard School of Math, and that's in the manosphere. And when we start to get into these statistical arguments, I hear statistics pulled from all kinds of different planets and galaxies and atmospheres, and we could argue statistics all day. I mean, statistics and statistical analyzation is tricky because depending on who you poll, what time you poll, whether or not people are actually telling the truth or lying. I mean, how do you truly gauge whether or not somebody's in their child life? Like, what is that actual gauge, right? There's no really way to know a true gauge. Some people think that because they give their kids Christmas gifts every year, they're in their lives. And that's not necessarily the case, right? So I don't like to get into statistical arguments and stuff like that because we could be doing that all day and night. At the end of the day, the black community is a direct representation of the lack of male, masculine fathers and true leaders inside America. Okay. It's just a fact. So, I mean, but I hear what you're saying, though. I hear what you're saying. Keep that thought. We'll come back to you in a little bit. Stampitis, we'll have you go after Jedi Mike. Jedi Mike, welcome back to the channel. So good to see you in here. The floor is yours.
Hey, man. How you doing? Hello, everyone, to the panel and stuff and in the chat. I'm kind of going up to the point where we're hearing, and I just kind of been sit back and listening and just being respectful. When you're going back and talking about who's responsible, talking about all these women getting pregnant and stuff like that. And we keep going back into the point about who's the leaders of the community. And what I mean by that is that we, as a lot of black men that's in our community, we've lacked the intentionality in relationships, that we're not actually going in with the mindset of saying, oh, I'm trying to bear my seed for marriage in order to progress my legacy and have family. So you're just saying, oh, we're just trying to screw. And absolutely, sex doesn't have to equal a baby. But at the same time, if you make the argument saying, oh, why these women rush to get pregnant, I have every right and every self-control, to bear my seed as much as possible. I'm not going to say any people that take advantage for you, but most people are not in the level of success as future. So saying the argument saying, well, most of these women are rushing to get future pregnant and stuff like that, it doesn't is irrelevant, because the fact that most of these folks are not lacking accountability, look in the mirror and say, listen, I understand that, folks, you have temptation, and people of the flesh and want to try to come in, and if a woman tries to seduce you or whatever, all that stuff. But as a man, you have to have self-control, which we lack in the black community. And my thing, instead of wasting your time about talking about future and talking about all these black women getting pregnant and all this stuff, and rushing about saying, talking about the single parent household, all the data statistics and stuff. Listen, statistically speaking, I should be in jail by now. But yet I have both my father in my life and my mother. I'm literate, I'm educated, and I have no children. And I'm telling you, it's like, I can care less what statistics tell me, because they don't control my life. It's just like using the argument saying, well, survey says this, and no, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but just using that and just saying, man, why are we not looking in the mirror and saying, listen, we have every right, just as women have the right to engage in sex, we have the right to engage in sex as well. But just you making that argument is really kind of irrelevant at this point, because you're not actually looking yourself in the mirror and saying, you know what, I can control myself instead of blaming the black woman.
And I mean, listen, the criminal statistics show this. The lack of education shows this. There's no accountability. It's always the woman's fault, right? But the women at this point are saying, okay, you know what? We're going to start trying to get our stuff together. We're going to start trying to divest. We're going to start trying to get a little bit more educated. What do the men do? Instead, they berate, they admonish them, they get upset, call women masculine for trying to create their own businesses, for trying to live a better life without them. A lot of these women are not even wanting to date black men to begin with, because they already know the troubles and the problems that they're going to have by and large with dating black men. But instead, Kevin Scamios calls them, yo, you're going to die alone. You're going to do this. You're going to do that, because they have started to elevate their standards. Now they're going to die alone. Now they're going to have problems. Black women are damned if they do. They're damned if they don't. They try to choose better and wait for a better man, they're going to die alone. If they try to give Pookie and Ray Ray a chance, then you're mad at them for giving Pookie and Ray Ray a chance, even though you always claim that you want black women to get and build with black men. It's you damn if you do, damn if you don't. I missed this $50 super chat from A Patty. Just 1 second. A Patty, I can't bring up the super chat right now because it's too far gone. I thought it was one that I already had. A Patty with the $50 super chat says women have a timeline for healthy pregnancy. Black men don't take that into consideration. Marriage can occur at any time in our adult lives. Pregnancy is a different story for women. Men need to initiate marriage sooner if they care about out of wedlock rates. I think that's a great point, Patty. That's a great point. Once again, men do control the gates to marriage. So telling women that they need to get married sooner is a completely relevant point to what she just said. When childbearing, something that Coach Greg Adams always says, well, it's science that I want a younger woman. It's the paedosphere is always saying this. Younger women are more attractive because biologically they can reproduce. And that's what we see as attractive inside of our minds, right? 50-year-old men saying that they go for 18-year-old women because they can reproduce at higher rates, right? But at the same time, they're not marrying 18-year-old women because of that either. And what you see that the $50 super chat, A Patty said, is the exact same thing. A woman does want a child, but if a man doesn't propose to her, she might just decide to take that risk with the boyfriend that she's been with for 5 or 6 or 7 years, right? She is on a time clock. But this is another problem that I have with a lot of you Negroids. You niggas lack compassion, bro. Like, just on the most basic humanitarian level, you niggas are like borderline fucking evil, man. Like, something is wrong with y'all, fool. Like, y'all niggas got problems, dude. That's why I don't mess with most of y'all, fool. I can walk past a black dude in the street and I say, hey, what's up, man? You know, what's up? What's up? Shit, what's up, man? What's up? Every once in a while, I'll get somebody to say, hey, how you doing, brother? Walk up and shake my hand. How you doing? It's so rare that when it happens, I meet lifelong friends like a gentleman that'll be on the You Can't Handle the Truth podcast, a black dude who was in the military. We walked up to each other. Me and Spencer started talking. Shout out to Spencer if he's watching right now. When I walked into that gun range, I said, hey, what's up, brother? It's good to meet you, man. I'm Jonathan. He said, oh, what's up, man? What do you do? The first thing he asked is what I do, because the way I presented myself to him as a black man was so out of the ordinary, he told me, that immediately he was curious about who I am. So before I even fired around at the gun range, we talked about my YouTube channel for an hour. We talked about his upbringing, his being raised in the hood, him being adopted, him making it to the military, then making a life for himself, him getting married to a black woman and doing very, very well, and then training special forces and having this crazy lucrative military career. But at the end of it, he said, man, it's so rare that I see black men like yourself. It's just an honor to meet you. Let me know when I can come onto the podcast. And he'll be sharing a story on the podcast soon. Why am I saying this? Because that interaction that I have with Spencer is so rare in the black community that it's a shame. I hear you niggas talking. All I hear is hate. Hatred, 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 hatred. And you wonder why the black community is in shambles. You niggas have hatred for each other. You niggas are evil, man. Mm-hmm. Evil, evil, evil. Let me read this $5 super chat really quickly so I don't miss it. Sorry about everybody that's been donating. If you've been donating on the Cash App, I'm going to make sure that I give your name on the Cash App as well. I came with the $5 super chat. Says you are speaking truth. And that is why you're getting so many haters from who? Black men. Coincidentally, right? Coincidentally, it's the most violent men in America. Coincidentally, that's who I get most of my hate from.
Yeah, can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Jedi.
Yeah, it basically because you complain about in a situation is like, yeah, we lack compassion, but it's also talking about leaders like, you make the argument. So, well, let's say the man is there to begin with. Well, if the man is even there, we have this. In situations where, in terms of their lack of empathy and the lack of ambition and lack of integrity, as a father saying, well, my presence is just enough. Well, that's not an excuse. Basically saying, a lot of us can be insecure. A lot of us can be full of pride and also be incompetent into actually leading the black family, leading our children, which is why we have the generational sin of why we have this brokenness within the men in our community. And then when you complain about, all these rappers and stuff, and listen, most of these rappers can be behind bars before they can spit some. And yeah, you complaining about why you are why is the black women doing this and why black women that? It's like, if you actually being the pillars of the community that we say we are and being the kings that we claim we are, then why are you making the excuse? A king doesn't complain. The men who are actually succeeding in this are actually winning. They're not on this, they're not here going out and complaining about why the black women are this and all that stuff. If anything, they're getting to work as black, like my father, like other men. We actually are instilling into the boys and forging boys to be men, to be proper men. Just like, what Honest Truth was talking about, actually meeting black men down the street and having a decent conversation and acting like saying this is what the black man's supposed to be, not what what society's trying to tell us to be. Because we give them that right to say, oh yeah, we tell the society to tell us what the black man is, and yet we just let them in and let them lead our community. We haven't took the right and responsibility and the accountability of actually saying, no, I'm not going to have this image be bestowed on me. I'm going to change this for my race. We just said, hey, we're going to accept it for what it is. And you call it simping, you call it, pandering, everything like that. Like I said, the men are not complaining, they're winning, but they're winning in silence. And that's true masculinity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They call simping having morals and values. They call simping respecting women. They call simping uplifting the woman that looks like yourself. They're the same ones that complain that the white man's always on their neck, but then complain and then berate the women just like the evil racist white men they claim are plaguing them and destroying their lives. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Black men have taken white supremacy farther than white supremacy could ever. At this point, white people are trying to see the black community do better. What's holding black people back? It's not white people, not Mexican people, not Asian people. Because you see, the black man's mentality is they would rather complain about weaves. They'd rather complain about, something so stupid like weight, and then the mothers and this and that, without just offering the solution, right? But even when the solution is given to them, they don't create any businesses. They don't create any economic prosperity. They don't create any type of growth for the community in and out of itself. Right. They don't fix the solution even when the solution is right in front of them, right? They don't fix it at all.
Weight portion?
No, you can't. Not the weight right now, because I'm sure that you're not a Greek goddess walking around with the six pack abs. Okay, so I highly doubt that you're. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. Archer, I know you just came back. Stampitis, I want you to have the floor right now. Stampitis, the floor is yours.
Dang, honest man, I want you to take a drink of that water and calm down, man. You getting heated, man.
Nah, it's okay.
Yeah, man,
I'm perfectly good where I'm at right now. I appreciate the concerns, though. I appreciate the concerns.
I'll say this and I'll hop off. I ain't really got no smoke for you. I just kind of wanted to say that Archer might have a point on the stat. I believe that your stat is correct, but looking at my personal situation, so I'm not married to my baby's mom, but I'm in my child's life. So am I a part of the problem? It's kind of misleading when you look at it. So I actually agree with Archer in that. A lot of your points, I do agree with what you're saying. Keep the show going. And also, I think I'm blocked in your chat, by the way. I don't know if I am.
Okay. We'll try and look into it.
And one last question for you, Honest. Do you think divesting? Would you agree that it's kind of maybe running away from the problem instead of maybe fixing it?
No, not necessarily, because divesting is essentially what black men are asking for to begin with, which is go for men who have higher marriage rates, who are more willing to marry you, who do value the idea of traditionalism as far as the man's roles in community. And if you look at every other race inside of America, every other race does promote family. Definitely the Latinos do, right? Definitely the Asians promote family, and definitely the whites promote family. Whites value families as far as business wise. Latinos value it as far as just traditionalism, and that's how their roots are. You can always drive around and see Latinos doing family events and things of that nature, and Asians make sure that you stay tightly within the family. They prefer if you actually don't go outside of the family and their race, right? And so they're as traditional as can be as well. So no, I don't think that it's running away from the problem, because what we're starting to see is most black men don't want to fix the problem to begin with. And so black women have tried, black women have given it their best shot, and black women are still loyal, and a lot of them will remain loyal. Most black women will not divest, because this is not just a completely, I guess you could say, accepted concept in the black community. It's just not going to happen. So no, I don't think it's running away. I think that it's providing the solution that black men claim that they want for black women to begin with, right? Which is putting yourself with a better group of men.
Can we talk about why black women are scared to divest?
We could talk about something in a second. Hold on, network. Who said something right there?
I did. Mind if I
yeah, go ahead, Archer.
I'm sorry to interrupt, bro.
No, you're fine.
I actually agree with you. I mean, if we come to the conclusion that black men are everything we say they are, if at this point if you still choose to date a black man, then you're stupid. Plain and simple.
And I don't want to say stupid because that's starting to kind of, I hear what you're saying, and this is why we do talk about the divesting, right? Because they're not stupid for doing it. A lot of see, this is the problem. I know you've heard this before, Archer, but a lot of black men will try and shame, they'll try and mind control, they'll try and emotionally and spiritually strip women of their confidence by saying, "Oh, you're the least married, you're the least desired, you're the most overweight, you're the most this, you're the most that," and so they try and use narcissistic tendencies and abuse patterns as far as verbally to try and tell the black woman that she's less than. They always try and do this is what Kevin Scamos does on his channel all the time, right? The women get into the panel, what's your dress size? What's your this? What's your that? I don't care about your education. I don't care about anything that actually makes you as a person. The only thing that I care about is your outward physical appearance, which he knows women are most self-conscious of. Right. So this is strategically used to try and strip down women, not just black women, but in this case, obviously black women we talk about, of their confidence, to try and strip them down to the very bare essence of their instabilities, of their vulnerabilities. Right. And this is why he does that. And this is why so many black men love it and get a kick out of it. And they live for that because they love to have that little bit of control to try and strip another human being down. Right. So
could I ask you a question, brother?
Oh, hold on one second. Black women at this point, I'll let you go right now, Truck. Black women at this point are starting to slowly but surely get the idea of divest. And it's not that they're stupid if they decide not to. It's not that they're stupid. It's just that it's kind of a pretty revealing process of saying, dang, you know what? Like, golly, like these niggas really don't care about me like that. When you see 1 million people on Kevin Scamos' channel talking bad about black women, it takes you back. It's like, well, dang, maybe I really do need to date that white boy that was interested in me. Hey, you know what? Maybe they are trying to just use me and abuse me and this and that and that. But it takes a while to get to that point. That's why we got to keep preaching this message of divestment. That's why this is the best thing for our black women a lot of the time. And the numbers show and reflect that. So go ahead, Truck Motivation.
I just got a question for you. Let's say we're really close friends, right? We're boys, and you're single, and I know a girl that might be interested in you. What's the first thing you're gonna want to know about the girl?
You know a girl that might be interested in me?
Yeah. What would be the first thing you want to know about the girl?
The first thing that I would legitimately want to know is, I mean, do I know her?
Okay.
I mean, I don't understand. What do you just ask the question? I'm not understanding what you're trying to
if okay, look, okay, I'll reverse it, right? If we're close friends and you say, "Hey, buddy, I know you're single. I got a girl that's interested in you." I'm gonna want to know what she looks like.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. Right.
And like, I'm not picking up for the Kevin Samuels argument. I'm just saying, like, men, we're not going off of like up here with a woman. That's like one of the that's like a later stage. We care about what she looked like. That's number one. And if I'm not attracted to her, I just now
listen, Chuck. I get what you're saying. Obviously, physical attraction. This happened. This is on both sides. Okay, this is on both sides. So let me just say this to you really quickly. Yes, we care about physical attraction. Women are going to care about how much money you make as well. Women take that into importance. Okay, both sides, both genders have things that they like about the other gender. However, just because you have preferences and just because I have preferences on what somebody looks like does not give me the right to be an asshole on YouTube trying to out women for their lack of physical development or for their overweightness. Okay. Yes, I understand that we care about what women look like, but I'm never going to call a woman out and embarrass her because she doesn't have the body that I would quote unquote desire. This is what goes back to my point of niggas are just evil a lot of the times. Niggas have no humanity to them a lot of the times. Okay. So yes, we do like attractive women. And guess what? Women like attractive guys. Women like guys who are making a lot of money. Okay. So you can't be upset if a woman doesn't want to get with you because you're not making a lot of money in that same breath. However, yes, it would be wrong if she were to just completely out you publicly, call you a broke ass and whatever it might be out in public or online or this or that. However, even in that case, for me, a woman outing and saying that I was a dusty online is the reason that I ended up trying to be dusty. So I get what you're saying to some extent. I do get it. However, what I see most of the time, men calling women running backs, Kevin Samuels calling women Emmitt Smith, that's straight disrespectful. Okay, that's very disrespectful. I wouldn't want anybody saying that about my sister. I wouldn't want anybody saying that about your sister. Okay, that's just compassion. Okay, but that's not something that is very stable or enriched in the Black community. It's a very heartless, evil place in the hood, and you wonder why women develop in the hood and in the dilapidated environments so rough and so masculine. It's because there's nothing but evil and hatred in the environment. Go ahead, Shantae.
Okay, so men always say like it's about looks and stuff, but like y'all also say that y'all will sleep with Black women, but y'all won't marry them. So if we go past that, y'all making it seem like it's extra criteria that we need. Like, you know, if you're attracted to us, you would sleep with us, right? And if you're attracted to us, you should also marry us, right? Truck, what's your name?
Truck Motivation is his name. Yeah, so and I want to follow this up, Shantae. You're kind of breaking up right there. I want to follow this up with what you're saying. And Truck, I'll let you go and rebut this in 1 second. Listen, I don't know if you've seen, but I've seen Black men, and I know that this is kind of a joke that we joke about, that Black men will sleep with anything. Now, what Black men say in response in the manosphere when I say something like that is, yeah, we'll sleep with them, but we won't wife them, as if somehow that's a better situation, that you'll sleep with them, but you won't wife them, right? This is also something that I see with a lot of men say. Go ahead, Motivation. You're muted. Go ahead. Shantae, 1 second. I unmuted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, like
have you seen that though? You've seen that though, right?
Seen that, like what some Black men will
like, you know, a lot of like it's a stereotype, but you know that there's a good amount of Black men that will sleep with just about anything walking.
I wouldn't even say a good percent. I mean, I think we're really talking about like the losers, you know, like we're talking about the male and the female losers of like our culture, you know. We're not talking about the people that are actually going to school, they're going getting their trades, they're getting education.
But the women are getting more educated than the men are. Okay.
I don't think that's what it is, because in my experience in my life, that's not what I see. It's like kind of like an equal thing. A lot of women are going into schools, a lot of dudes are going into trades. It's just we're all getting our money. Okay. I can't say that the women are necessarily doing better than the men.
Right. Okay. You know? Well, you know, personal experience can be, you know, different to all, so we'll just kind of leave it there. I've done a lot of numbers, but I don't want to really talk about statistics and everything like that right now.
But brother, we're talking about like the hood guys, the baby mamas in the hood. These people, like, they're the ones who are kind of making the conversation go in this direction. For people like me and you and the women in this chat, none of us are a part of that group. Right. These things apply to any of us. We're literally talking through the idea of a ghetto dude and a ghetto woman, and them kind of going back and forth in that conversation. The rest of us regular people, we're getting jobs, we're getting married, we're starting businesses, and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
I don't think, am I right?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We're definitely not a part of, in that case, a lot of the time, the people that we're speaking about. But at the same point, when you talk about the lack of economic progression that we as Black people are still a part of in the Black community, us being dead last in everything, obviously there's a problem. And that's what I do talk about at hand. A lot of the time, yeah, and I think it's a great point, Truck. Guys will say, well, you know what? I'm doing this. My friends are doing that and doing this and doing that. That's all fine and dandy. That's great. But Black people are still last. So even if we're doing decent or doing good, or you know somebody that's doing good, Black people aren't doing enough because they're still last. So I can't just allow it to be, oh, well, you know what? We're talking about people that, you know, we aren't a part of. That's cool to some extent, but for the most part, the numbers are showing that, hey, we still have a lot of work to do. So I understand what you're saying, Truck. I really do understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that. It's just that, you know, we still got a lot of work to do. And moreover, most of the time, we're not just talking about economic development. We're talking more about the new wave of hatred that's getting ready to happen within Black males' heart as far as they relate and interact with Black women, right? We're talking about and this is what I'm addressing. I'm addressing what I see that's getting ready to happen. What I see getting ready to happen are millions of youths that think that it's okay to call women refrigerators or this or that, and misguided youths that start to get off on other men's hatred, men who are 30, 40, 50 years their superior and things of that nature because they're online, pointing women out, telling her that she doesn't need to wear weaves and this and that. So yeah, we're talking from a very holistic point of view of understanding who we are and what we represent on this channel. But this channel is relatively small in comparison to the channels that I'm talking about right now. The channels that I'm talking about right now collectively have millions of followers, millions of following, and I talk about a lot of different stuff. But like I said, Truck, I understand exactly what point you're trying to prove. It's just that if we're still last, I can't let up on the brakes. I can't let up on the gas on what I'm trying to say because we're dead last and we need
Can
a
I
lot
say
of work.
something about the divest movement real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, I keep hearing, I'm looking at these comment section, I'm hearing about all these divest away from black men or whatever they want to call it. And it's really funny to me because you also brought up a stat that black women
I don't want to talk about stats right now. We're not talking about stats. I just said we're not talking about stats.
This is a quick point.
Make it quick.
That black women are at least likely to date outside the race. And there's a reason for that. We can get into details as to why black women feel like they have no choice but to stick with black men.
Right.
Because they know other races of men are not going to put up with their attitude. They're going to have to lose that weight. We can.
All right, Network. I know we've talked about all these points before. We're going to continue because we're not just talking about that right now. We'll continue. I know they all have attitudes and weights, but guess what? Most black men are broke. So let's go ahead and continue really quickly. Toya, I see that you've joined 2 times, so I'll take you out for one of them. Network, we've had a decent amount of you today, so I'll keep you on mute for a while. Dasher, I see your new Flow Matrix. You're new as well. Dasher, the floor is yours. Dasher. Dasher calling once. I unmuted you. Go ahead.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, Dasher.
I don't know if my mic is working, but
yes, I hear you perfectly.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so there's a lot. Sorry, I'm not an English speaker. I'm speaking French, but I will speak in the best of my ability. So,
sure.
Where do I start? So I found your channel through on that Chronic channel, and I like a lot of things that you say about. Because I don't like Kevin Samuel. I don't like the thing that you say, and there's a lot of things that I want to speak against because these things need to be exposed. You understand?
Yeah.
So, by the way, I'm a Christian, so I come from a how can I say that a Christian perspective, if you understand.
Yes.
So okay.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Dasher, I appreciate the support, man. Welcome to the channel, and I encourage you to watch a lot of the past live streams. You're going to really enjoy them. And yeah, you come from a compassionate perspective. You come from a perspective and an upbringing that had morals and values in it, which is why you can understand a lot of the points that I'm saying, and which is why a lot of men can't understand that point because they come from a very hateful, envious, and emotionally stunted perspective. And so, Dasher, I appreciate that support, man. We'll come back to you in a second, Dasher. I want to let a couple other people go. Network 44, I'm going to go ahead and remove you for the time being. I pretty much understand exactly where you stand and the hatred that you allow to reside inside of your heart. Thank you for being here again. Once again, Network 44. Let's move on. Loren just joined the panel. She's going to be in the background. Oops, sorry, Loren. Loren, I'll have you go in 1 second. Flow Matrixes. The floor is yours, Flow Matrixes. First time I've seen you here.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so look, I agree with a lot of stuff that you saying. There are some men out here that's just so empathetic and a lot of that, but you got to take into consideration that a lot of these women like these type of men, and they like the bad boy. They like the boy who can take them on, put them in a nice car and be all flashy. You got to understand why these men are doing this. They're doing this because a lot of women. Hold on, wait a minute.
A bad boy. Well, I want to clear one thing up really quickly. Hold on. A bad boy doesn't necessarily mean you could put her in a nice car. I can get a nice car and put a woman in a nice car. I just want to say that.
Okay, I understand that. So I'm just saying, like, a lot of times when these men, like even me growing up, right? I wanted to wonder, like, how do I get women? Like, I wanted to know, and I would look at these guys who were clean cut. I would look at these guys who going to school and these guys who doing right and being righteous. I would look at them, they ain't getting no girls. Right. But I look at this guy who got a criminal record. I would look at this guy who is just, he has no empathy. He's just some of the worst black men they got on this panel. But he gets all the girls. I'm talking about all the girls. So as a young kid, you kind of look at that like, well, look, in my life, I want the girls. So it kind of point men into that direction. I'm not saying it's right. I'm definitely not saying it's right. But that sometimes be the motivation of why so many men point into that direction. You know what I'm saying? And and like I say, I know that these men, they are empathetic. Like a lot of stuff you say, it has some validity to it. Like a lot of deadbeats are proud that Kevin Samuels is standing up for them. You know what I'm saying? And and that's because he never wanted to take care of that child, never did want to even be, he never really even wanted the child. He never even really wanted to be with the mother. You know what I'm saying? He just wanted to have sex and that was it. You know what I mean? And so, okay.
So let me, I'll address and listen. I hear what you're saying. I think that that's what a lot of brothers, maybe particularly educated brothers, have felt coming up, that they just weren't desired or whatever it might have been. And so here's the angle that I take on this. All right, and I'm not making excuses for every woman, because yes, there are some women that like bad guys, bad dudes. Right, this happens in every race. It's not just the black race. Make no mistake about it. And this is a stereotype that exists in every part of capitalistic America. The bigger thing, and what I speak to directly though, is improving the black community as a whole. Okay. And so, yes, I understand that the desire to have women is important as a young boy. I get that completely. However, my goal isn't necessarily just to get you to have women. As I said before, being a high value man has an indirect relationship to being able to get women. It's not a direct relationship or a direct causation for getting women. What happens is it's a byproduct. Women are a byproduct of being high value or whatever it might be. Make no mistake about it. The people that have software companies that sell software companies, bro, the nerds, the ones who are truly the nerdiest, the ones who do really well in life, they have no problem with women. Black, Asian, white alone. Okay. Men who have money do well with women. But what we're talking about, what I specifically talk about, is improving the black community. Okay. So the gangsters, the thugs, I get that, yes, some women might like them. I get that we have somehow popularized a culture that focuses itself around being a thug or being hood and then this hyper masculinity type of vibe or whatever it might be. But that's the reason why black people are dead last. Okay. And so this is what I have to say to this.
Can I speak on that? Okay.
Yeah, hold on one second. I get how important it is to you, and how, and I want to make this very clear, how much it could have hurt you as a child to see that you were a good person, quote unquote, in a lot of different situations, but you still weren't getting the girl at the time. I get how that can make a stick to you and a stick for you. However, what we should be trying to preach instead is getting men to understand that, you know what? We need to get men who are more developed emotionally. We need to start putting a message out that the gangsters, the thugs, have led us pretty much nowhere at this point. It's not cool to be a thug and have a felony conviction or whatever it might be. It's not cool to do this. And we need to start really talking about, and I'm glad you do like a lot of the points that I talk about, the numbers that are reflective of gang and thug culture, right? The lack of economic progress and development that we as black people have. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the women are going to follow where the men go. So the reason that you see a lot of women going for the thuggish type, ruggish type men is because most of the time in the black community, particularly, it sounds like you might be in the late 30s or early 40s, the thug was the poppin' type of dude. That's who the black community decided to put on a pedestal. Okay. And so the women just ended up following what black people made pop culture in this case. What we need to start making pop culture now is men who are smart, men who decide to go to college, men who don't make fun of women for going to college, men who don't make fun of women for whatever it might be, men who are emotionally mature, responsible. After we have a larger percentage of men being raised responsibly, being raised with morals, being raised with a decent head on their shoulder, being raised to not go to jail, it's going to be a direct causation for women to start getting with more men because listen, no, hold on. I'm not done yet. I'll let you go in 1 second.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry.
Because if you have more educated men in the community, if more men start to get on top of their game, the women have no choice but to follow. All right. For instance, if the black community was primarily nerds, then black women would have to date primarily nerds, and the status of the culture of black people would change. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get you to change more often. Moreover, it's not just the fact, and yeah, I get it. Some women, it's not just black women. They like the bad boy. Cool. What I'm trying to say is that the bad boy needs to be held accountable at this point. We need to start making sure that we're raising our children to not be bad boys. That's all I'm trying to say in this case.
Okay, so that's the only thing that
Can I ask him a question?
Disagree with you. Hold on, wait a minute. Well, let me speak this real quick. I want to answer what he said.
Just 1 second, yeah,
right?
We'll let him go.
So I believe this is just what I believe. I do believe that majority of men follow the women because reason being is it's the same reason why men, when ladies get in free, that's when men start to come up because they want to be with a woman. You know what I'm saying?
So the women are the ones that led the gang culture, essentially.
No. We live to impress women. See, when the reason men get a job and stay clean cut and all that, they do everything for a woman.
But see, this is what I'm telling you though, Flo.
But hold on, wait a minute. Let me say this. Now, I'm not saying I live my life like that because I live my life totally. You know, I'm a businessman. I committed my life to business. You know what I mean? So
right.
But I'm talking about in general, just a regular average guy.
Mm-hmm.
He wants.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
The woman of his dreams. He wants to impress the women of his.
All right, so I'm gonna put you on mute because you're a little slow on the talking. I get what you're saying. This is exactly what I said before. That I'm gonna say it to you again. Okay, when you are on your purpose as a man, women come naturally. So the narrative I'm trying to change within black men's mind is get on your game and a woman will follow. If you get a BMW M series, she's going to hop in the car. So yes, men do live life to some extent for women, but that's what I'm trying to change at this point. Be the best man you could be for your community and the women will come. That's all I'm saying. Lorraine, go ahead. You had a question for him.
Yes, because just leading right off of that is basically what I wanted to say. Black men are the ones that promoted the image of what they wanted themselves to be. Black men are the ones that promoted, you know, sagging clothes and sagging pants, and like you're the ones that are in control of your own image, and you're the ones that promoted yourself as this tough dude, and everyone's following. Black men to this day still live vicariously through rappers and athletes and the strongest, biggest men. Those are the ones that y'all idolize, but y'all expect us not to idolize them too, because women do follow men. So, and the other thing I wanted to ask you was like, are you really telling me that in the hood and in like these black neighborhoods, there's just all these smart, nerdy black guys that just all want to be with women, and you know, black women are just stepping over the good ones to get to the bad ones because there's just so many good ones. There's so many good black men out there, and we're just pushing them aside to get to the bad ones.
Well, I mean, a lot of times, a lot of women do say, "Oh, well, you know, like I've heard this a lot, like, oh, it must be too good to be true. He's too good to be true, you know, or you know, he's boring, or you know, you're not really
answering. You're not really answering my question. I'm asking you.
I'm leading up to the
majority.
answer. I'm sorry. I'm leading up to the answer. I'm gonna get straight to it.
Flo's a pretty chill talker.
Yes, I do believe that women are stepping over good men, because you got to understand, this is deeper than some relationship. Okay, I've had women. Hold on, wait a minute. I've had women try to set me up. Okay, I've had women.
All right, Flo. We're kind of getting all over the place. I want to just keep your point that you said. You believe women are stepping over the good men. We'll keep it there. I know you've had personal experiences, and I don't want to negate that. And I'm sure that, you know, being set up and then being at the opposite end, none of that's good, man. And so I'll get there in 1 second. Let me just read a couple of these, and we'll come back to you in a second, Flo, because I want to let a couple other people talk. I have to clear some space up here. But we keep that in mind. I know where you stand. Asia Henry, $5 super chat, says all the men that complain about the thugs are too cowardly to run the thugs out of the community, so they should stop complaining about it. Absolutely. There should have been a neighborhood watch for the black community, for the little black boys and girls that are growing up in the community who have no chance because thugs decide to sell drugs or whatever it might be, or terrorize the neighborhood. There should have been a neighborhood watch a long time ago. The Malcolm X's, the Black Panthers, they would have done that for sure. But we don't have that right now. A Patty says, $5 super chat, lies. These men don't live for women. They live for their phallus. If black men live for women, why is the marriage rate so low and out of wedlock rate so high? You know, thank you for the $5 super chat. Also, the channel membership from Laura Garrow. She renewed the channel membership. Welcome back to the member side, Laura. I'll be releasing that video of me deep sea fishing in a second, guys. Editing those videos takes such a long time. I don't edit a lot, so for the channel members, you have videos coming. Let's go ahead and move on really quickly, and then we'll kind of get, I'm sure, I'm sure what's his name? He just left, but I'm sure he's still watching, so we'll address him in 1 second. LL Cool Dre, the floor is yours. Then we'll go to Toya, and then Nobles. Connect your mic or camera, it says, and then I can add you to the stream. LL Cool Dre, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say a few things. Just based upon this panel, this specific podcast. The comments that I've heard from some of the members on the panel really reiterate the fact that some Black men don't recognize their own agency as people, that they don't recognize that they can make decisions for themselves, and they don't anticipate future consequences of current decisions. It baffles me. Why didn't a woman make me wear a condom? Well, how do I follow that? How do I submit to that? How come a woman is doing all of these things? Well, sir, why aren't you doing things? I don't understand. It seems so oxymoronic to me. You want me to submit, you want me to be cooperative, but what am I submitting to? A person who can't take personal responsibility for their own actions. That seems very strange to me.
Absolutely.
And I understand that we have some problems and some issues. One thing that I will say is that a lot of Black people are very hurt, and hurt people hurt people. And it's easier to put that hurt on someone else rather than engage in some real serious self-reflection about what you do have control over in your life. You know, you can control your own fertility. You know, you can exercise sexual discipline. You can choose better in women. You can choose to be married. And the one thing that I do want to say about that statistic, and I know we're not really talking about statistics, but the one thing that I do want to say is, even if you are in your child's life with and you're together with a mother, the agencies, the government, her job, WIC, any kind of legal proceeding sees her as a single mother because she is not married. And that's where the statistics come from. Fair or not, the government's not going to come and say, oh, are you living with your partner? Oh, you two are raising kids? That's great. Let's make this not a single mother. That's how they do it. It's the census. It's when the child's born. It's when the child is recognized for a life insurance or health insurance or anything like that. So while it may not be fair, it is what it is. And that's something that you have to accept. So claim your responsibility over your lives. Recognize that you are responsible for yourself, and quit giving that power to other people, and then expecting us to be cooperative to someone who doesn't own their own power. And
absolutely.
That's all I want to say. Thank you so much for having me. And I do want to say to that one person who was set up, that's terrible. And it shouldn't have happened to you. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. One thing, I did have some trauma in my life, but I went to therapy. And I didn't want to go. There was a situation where I had to go. And I will say that has changed my life remarkably. And if you have the desire, please go to therapy. It'll be so helpful for you, and don't be afraid of being called a simp. It seems that Black men are so afraid. They're more afraid of being called a simp than they are of taking care of the kids. They're more afraid of being called a simp than they are of getting married or being responsible in their community. And that stop worrying about what people call you and do what's good for you. Do what's good for you to make sure that you're an upstanding person, that you contribute to your community, that you're taking care of your children, that you're honoring their mother. You may not care for her, but you lay down with her. So welcome to the consequences of your choices. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for having me.
Oh, so well said, LL Cool J. So well said. Very well said. For the Cash App donator that just donated, I'm so sorry for typing out your full name. I tried to delete the comment, but I can't delete my own comment somehow. So forgive me for doxing you. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. Meme, I see you in the background. Make sure that you connect your mic or camera. I'm gonna take you down. Try and come back. We have one space left. I'll let Toya go ahead and speak really quickly right now. Truck, I'm sure you're waiting to say something. Just want to let a couple new people talk really quickly. Toya, go ahead. Then we'll go to Truck Motivation, and then we'll move on. Toya, the floor is yours.
Okay, hey everybody. I just
Okay.
I'm gonna make this real quick because I do gotta get up early in the morning. But
Mhm.
my issue is how the men complains about the out of wedlock um out of wedlock birth rates, but why black men lack in sexual responsibility. Men get the women pregnant. Women get pregnant one time out the year. Men can impregnate as many women as they possibly can. I'm trying to figure that out because the math is not mathing at this point.
I think that's a great question. That's a great question. Well, we know what their answer would be. Their answer would be that somehow it's still the woman's fault because she just somehow magically created the baby by herself, and the men,
Oh,
she
wait.
lured the men.
Hold
She
on.
she tricked them.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Now for the women that constantly that got pregnant by Future, okay, I know what come up when I see it. Okay, I'm a woman. Game recognizes game,
Right.
but again, it still falls on the men that lack sexual responsibility. You know how to put a condom on? Put it on. Condoms don't cost much. How about this? Damn near $10 for condoms, or how about thousands of dollars for 18 years plus?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So well said, Toya. I completely agree. It still falls on the men who decide that they want to be the leaders of the community. If you're going to be a leader, then we're going to put the onus of leadership, the onus of birth. We're going to put all that on your shoulders. Absolutely, I agree with that. There's no excuse at the end of the day. Nobles Liner, we'll let you go in 1 second. I just want to let Truck speak. He hasn't spoken in a long time. Truck, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd heard some of the ladies speak, and very well spoken ladies, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like I won't even say feel. This whole birth conversation about children out of wedlock is like I'm a fair person. It's a two-way conversation. The same way the women are going to be telling the men to put on a condom, it's the same conversation that can be thrown back in the woman's face, And it's like, and at the end of the day, like, what's the solution here,
But if a woman is on, hold
on.
I'm about to say this. But if a woman is on birth control, it's still your responsibility to put a condom on. You are a grown man. You should already know what the consequences behind sex when you don't wear a condom. I'm not trying to hear that.
Condoms break too. Condoms break too. Condoms aren't 100% either.
It's still your responsibility to stop and put another one on.
It's her responsibility too.
It's still not. It's yours. You get the woman pregnant. You do. We can't get pregnant by ourselves.
Okay, so men are just out here wooing women into having sex. Women
no, but why do you put all the blame on women?
I'm not even blaming women. I'm just saying it's a two-way thing. Like, and she's
no, but this space blames women. This space has demonized single mothers as the problem, and single mothers are the ones that are completely responsible, and the men hold no responsibility. And at the same time, men who are fully as aware of their responsibility complain about child support like crazy.
I'll answer, Truck.
I'm paying child support. Hold on. I'm paying child support right now, right? I got 2 kids that I pay for every month. I don't complain about it. I take care of my kids.
Black Rob died on his deathbed complaining about child support.
Sure did.
Black Rob died on his dying breath complaining about child support. All of these men are on here. Have you not seen these manosphere men and all these other men on here that want to make rules and they want the law to get involved, that they shouldn't be legally responsible for a child that they never wanted? That you're one person. But like what the things that I'm hearing out here is that like they don't even want responsibility after they get the woman pregnant. They don't feel like they should be legally responsible for what they did. A lot of these dudes, it's like I want these kids to die. It's like the kid is here now, and y'all want to send them to the bottom of the river, because that happens too. These men will kill the side chick.
There's a lot of bad faced women too. Like listen, people are just people. You're gonna have good men, you're gonna have bad men, you're gonna have good women, you're gonna have evil women.
There's not enough good men. There's not enough good men. And but this message is an evil message. Okay, this whole single mothers are the problem, the new problem in society that everyone needs to avoid at all costs. Minister Jab wearing a no single mothers t-shirt. Like, women are going to be flocking to his big behind anyway. Like, these men really are acting like single mothers are the issue, and they have zero responsibility at all.
I think for the high value man, the single mother conversation. Yeah.
High value men have children too.
Hold on, yeah.
Chuck, let me kind of mediate this situation. Now, let me put you on one second. The reason why I deem the men more responsible, Chuck, is because the males are the ones who want to be the leaders. I say this all the time, and I'll go back to my original point in saying this. If you're going to be the leader, if you want men to follow you, then you bear the brunt of the responsibility. Does that make sense to you, Chuck?
If you want to be the leader,
do you want to be the leader or not?
You got to be responsible. You got to.
Okay, so yes, the leader's going to be more responsible. That's why I bear and put all the responsibility, or put more of the responsibility on men, because men of all races want that responsibility. You want the woman to follow you. You want her to listen to you, to do your will, to do your diligence. You want her to make sure that she is falling in line with your game plan. So if you want to lead her, then you're going to have to take the responsibility for everything that might happen based off of the choices and the consequences of your actions. Does that make sense?
Yo, definitely. Like, listen.
Okay, that's why I put this more on the man than the woman, bro.
For my kids in my life, right?
Right.
Is this. For your average, we're talking about average people.
But no, we're not talking about average. We're talking about a group of men who all want black women to be submissive to them. We're talking about black men who want women to provide indentured servitude.
Are we talking about true high value men here?
No, we're not talking about true high value. We're talking about Pookies, Ray Rays, men that earn $10,000 a year. That women, but you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm telling you that this is what they say. I've been on tons of panels. I've been in this for hundreds and hundreds of hours now. I'm telling you what these men are saying on these live streams.
Yo, honest truth. Can I just say something to address the ladies then?
No, I don't. I kind of want to move on from this right now, because at this point we're missing each other here. I'm telling you how most of the black men in the black manosphere operate, but you fail to see and hold your brothers accountable, which is once again going back to the same reason why we don't have any community policing going on in the hoods. It's the same reason we don't start going after the futures, the Pookies and the Ray Rays that are impregnating all the women or manipulating women, because we always just somehow get back to the point that it's the fault of the women instead of holding the men, the ones who choose and deem themselves the leaders, to be accountable. This is the reason why we won't get anywhere. We'll never get anywhere, man. It's just sad. Go ahead, Jedi.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond because, like, listen, I understand where you're coming from, like motivation, but my thing is that to me it's kind of emasculine when you want to play a ping pong game of responsibility. Like, immediately when we have when the fingers pointed at us, it's like we like to play a ping pong game when they say, oh, there's something wrong with you, or you need to hold accountable, and then you go back to you. And like, yes, I understand what you're saying, but as me as an adult, it just, especially as a man, like when you're driving a car, there's a reason why your windshield is bigger than your rear view mirror, because what's in front of you is what matters, which is your priorities and responsibility. Yes, you can say about, okay, well, yeah, she should have done this. Yes, she should have done that. It's just like, when you keep, that's like a argument you can always complain when you get in a car accident, where it's like, okay, at sometimes some folks can be in a fault accident, and sometimes both parties be played. Either way, my car is still wrecked, and like, what am I gonna do about it? Either way, you have a child in front of you, so what are you gonna do about it? So my thing is just about that. It's like, instead of actually complaining what a lot of men are doing, I'm just saying, why are you actually just being the actual leaders and actually having a plan of execution? Listen, I can complain the fact that how I got here and whose fault it is, but I have to accept as a man and being the leader, I have to accept the fact that I am here, because that's what masculinity has to be. And a lot of us are not saying that. And when you play this ping pong game of responsibility and accountability, just deflection, in an argument of saying, well, I don't want to shift the terms of how I, the weight of the fact that I have to have this life I have to take care of now that I didn't ask for. I'm saying that we have enough self-control. That's the problem. All these issues can start before we even conceive the child. But yeah, we don't want to talk about that because we just doesn't feed our narrative, feed our bitterness and rage. Because like I said, all this is up is a fear-based argument. But fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. And the people that are suffering ultimately can be the child. So I'm saying is that we have the responsibility as Black men, the fact that historically what we have not done, to actually take care of our priorities and the responsibilities instead of just saying wasting our time complaining, then we won't be having this issue.
And let me read this super chat really quickly. We'll get back to Trucker's point. Asia Henry with the $5 super chat, another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Asia. She said, they don't hold Future accountable because they look up to his man whoring ways. Absolutely. You spoke about the double standard earlier in this live stream, Truck Motivation, and that's one of the double standards. You somehow believe that it's okay for men like Future to go about and do what he does, but still you're going to hold the women accountable at the end of the day. That's a double standard, right? And so you can't have your own double standards and then somehow have a double standard against women as well. That's just not the way it works. If you're going to keep one judgment of consistent thought, then it has to be applied to both parties. Otherwise, you're playing both sides of the field, right? You're playing both sides, and that's not going to work either. Okay, it's not going to work either. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what will improve the Black community is better leadership with better men who are making better choices for the community. Okay. Now, yeah, you're on child support, so you are playing into these same statistics that we're talking about, right? You're playing into the same statistics that a very large group of men who you're dying on the hill for are going to make fun of men like you for actually playing into to begin with. So you're fighting with the same people that would stake you out in a heartbeat, right? You're fighting with the same people that would talk badly about your baby mother, the baby mother that you created. And so make no mistake about it. I advise you not to die on the hill of Black men because at the end of the day, they're making fun of dudes like you. Okay. So I need you to understand that. Secondly, I'm glad that you have no problem paying for child support because child support, I've said this before, is nothing other than a system of accountability, right? Just like jail, just like every other justice system that they claim that white men are out to destroy Black men using, it's just a system of accountability. And so I'm glad that, yeah, you are stepping up to the plate. Listen, I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm happy, right? But at the same time, most men who are in child support situations don't feel the same level of elatement or happiness that they get to pay child support every month. They're not happy with that situation, right? They feel like somehow they've been victimized, that somehow they've been tricked or led astray, right? And I'm saying this. I'm saying that even if somehow the woman was the one that tricked you and then she just completely flipped and she turned into a horrible person or whatever it might be, that still doesn't negate the fact of accountability that you must accept for the actions that you decided to make in regards to laying with her and creating a child. Even if she's the one completely in the wrong, I'm still going to hold the leaders accountable for that because that's what a leader is. He's the one that holds and bears the brunt of the responsibility. That's just the nature of the game, man. It's not fair. In a lot of cases, it might not be fair. It might not be quote unquote right, but that's the nature of leadership. And that's why it is so hard to find good leaders in the Black community because accepting that you're wrong, even when you might have been right, that's a very tough thing to do. That takes a very high level of accountability and honesty. That takes a very high level of meekness, right? It takes a very special person to do that. It's not easy being a leader, man. Not everybody's designed to be a good leader. Leaders aren't born. They're made. It takes time to be a leader. But with most Black kids not having good leaders in the form of fathers, in the form of actual productive Black people and Black males that they have role leadership from, instead of looking at men like Future and this and that, you wonder why there's no good leaders. You wonder why Black males don't have the ability to accept accountability. It's because it hasn't been taught. Leadership is not being instilled. Instead, it's a victim mindset that we're instilling into our children. That's why it's so hard for them to grasp the messages that I'm talking about right now. Right. I was lucky to be able to have a father that taught me what it is to be a man, that taught me what it is to accept responsibility and accountability. Right. I was very lucky, but I'm a part of the minority. And the things that you're saying, you're a part of the minority as well. You just so happen to be fighting for a majority of the men who would out you in a given second. IK with the $5 super chat says, as a spiritual woman, I can say for an absolute fact that THT is an angel. I appreciate that. I tried my best. So y'all know I have a past in the history. I'm not perfect for sure at all. I'm just trying to do the best that I can. I'm just trying to do the best that I can while I can do it, man. That's it.
Can I respond to something that Truck said a little while ago? Really
sure, and Truck,
quickly?
I'll let you go after Loren. Truck, I know it's not fun when it's a one. Oh, hold on. Oh, never mind. They're good. Go ahead, Loren.
Because you said something before about you and where you're from, women and men are doing this thing. We're both going to school, we're both getting trades and stuff like that. Now I don't know like where you're from, but it's like people want to like pay attention to these anecdotal situations and their personal experiences, but I'm looking at the community at large and as a whole, and I do not believe Black men are doing all that they can do. And I think that even when you, like I always bring up, when you look at that Goldman Sachs money, it straight up says it's for the breadwinners of the community, okay? That should be like a little signal to Black men. That should be more than a signal that lets you know that other communities can see who is the main ones usually pulling the weight. Who is the main ones that is usually making the money and bettering themselves and pulling themselves out of poverty. And you know that it's Black women because it's the same reason why the high value pimp, Kevin Samuels, deters education and makes fun of education and tries to tear down, an educated woman, like education doesn't matter, because they know that that's something that gives them more options. We have, when a woman is educated, we can exercise options too. We don't have to settle for the regular dude. We don't have to settle for the low earning minimum wage guy. A woman that has money, that has education, she does have more options. So it's like, I don't know how come Black men always act like we're on this even playing field when really we're not. But that's nobody's fault but your own, because nobody's stopping Black men from doing whatever it is that you need to do to better yourself. Like, we're not stopping you.
Absolutely. And thank you so much to the latest CASHAPP donators and donations. I do appreciate that so much, and appreciate the kind words and the messages as well. Y'all are the best. Yeah, there's nothing easy about being a leader. It's not designed to be an easy process. It's designed to be challenging. It's designed to be stressful. That's the nature of it. That's the nature of it. Let's get to someone who hasn't speaking in a while. Truck, I know you're being a good sport. Truck, did you want to say something in response to her before we move on? No, hold on. My bad. Hold on. Go ahead, Truck. Say it again.
Yeah, no problem. I should have seen that. Yeah, so listen, I'm a businessman. I got a small business. I got 2 trucks, You can go on my Instagram and see what I do every day. I live what I talk about. So Definitely. When I say that Black men are out here making and doing stuff, it's true. Check the Truckosphere, where this whole black trucking thing that's going on. A lot of Black men. There's Black women too. I'm not taking away from the ladies, but it's mostly Black men in this whole trucking industry who are making it happen. You know? So it's like, what do you like? I hear what she's saying, right? About the education, and the education gives you more options as a Black woman. But the more money you make, you're only looking for certain kind of dudes after that point. Of course, you would never talk to a broke guy. Of course, that's obvious. So you're making all this money. You're doing good as a Black woman. Kudos to you. Shout out to you. Like, get your money. But you're only dudes like me with money. I'm not really particularly interested in a woman with money. I want a cute girl. I want somebody that's gonna get on my program. If your friend is gonna cloud your judgment to make you not want to be on my why would I talk to you?
That's your prerogative, Truck. You can date whoever you want, man. You have freedom in the United States, but that does not give you the right to be an asshole.
No, but I'm not being an asshole.
Do you understand that? Well, but essentially, what you're sticking up for the men who are assholes online by telling women that they're masculine because they have a high earning degree or because they're doctorates. And so, listen, have you not heard Kevin Samuels play his little "I have a PhD" button and joking? Have you not heard that?
I've heard that, but I never.
Okay, no. Stop.
I never said.
So, how are you going to tell me in complete honesty that you're not fighting for the same men that you acknowledge are being assholes to women who decide to go get PhDs and doctorates online?
She's not masculine. I never said she was masculine.
Okay, but you're fighting for the men that would say that she is. Do you not understand that?
If a man thinks that she's masculine, he obviously.
All right, Truck, you're kind of talking in circles. I'm not going to go through that right now because you're fighting for the same men that would make fun of and persecute you on the same hill. It just makes no sense, Truck. I completely will never understand you. I'm glad you're doing well for yourself. I really am. You are still a part of the minority of Black men who are doing trucking and things of that nature. Most Black men are not doing trades to the level that you're doing it right now. They're just not. Noble Signer, the floor is yours. Sorry for the wait. Go ahead. Go ahead,
okay. You can hear me. All right.
Yeah.
You're simping right now, dude.
Okay.
You are simping, and I'm finna tell you how you're simping.
Just do it quick. Do it quickly.
Okay. Do men pursue women, or do women pursue men?
You tell me quickly.
Typically, the men pursue the women. The men want to get the women. So the men are gonna do what is required to get with the women. If the women ain't requiring the men to do more than what they're doing, they're not gonna do more. And these women are low quality, and they don't require more from the men because listen to me, because black women
I'm listening.
want to be in control. Black women want to be in control. That's why most
Oh my
that's
God.
why most of them sleep with and have kids.
Okay, hold on.
Let me finish.
Let's let Noble.
Can I finish without anyone talking over me?
Hold on.
Can I finish without anyone talking over me, sir?
Toy, let's let him finish real quick. Noble, just really quickly, 15 seconds. Wrap it up. I got you.
Okay. Most of these women have kids, and they're up here complaining about men who aren't leaders and who don't have anything. So the men.
So I got your point. I got your point really quickly there, Noble. Let's let a couple people speak to you real quickly, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, we'll come back to you in 1 second.
All right.
So I know it's the women's problem. It's the women's fault. Toya, I think you wanted to say something first to him. Toya, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Hold up. So, sorry. Quick question. How in the world is it the woman's fault that most of these men ain't shit? Can you please answer that question?
Because it's not that most of the men ain't shit. Listen to let me
He sighed. He said,
Let me answer the question. Can I answer the question? You asked me a question. Let me answer.
Go ahead, Noble. Go ahead. We're sorry.
Now, it's not that most of the men ain't shit. It's that the women are choosing to be with the men who ain't shit. Most of the men who ain't shit are having kids by multiple women. These women are having sex with the same kind of men. It's not the men who are worth something. The women are typically ignoring.
That's a damn lie.
And those women turn around and complain about those men going out and dating other groups.
Let me ask you a question, Noble. Let me ask you a question. Okay. Now I assume that the men that are worth something. One second, Toya. The men that are worth something. Do you mean that they're high in economic value? Is that what you mean? Typically, they're worth something, or do you mean that they're high in morale or good character? What do you determine as a high value?
I'm not talking about a high value dude making over $100,000 a year.
Right. Yeah,
I'm just talking about a decent dude who can take care of himself and who can handle taking care of a family. These women don't used to be with guys like that. If they are with guys like that, like that trucker machine dude, I'm pretty sure that the woman he probably has kids by other men, and the other men that she has kids with ain't worth a damn.
Okay, well, let's ask him. Let's ask him that. Maybe you're right. I'll ask him, and we'll come back. We'll come back to you in 1 second. We'll come back to you. I know that you're passionate. Truck, did you hear what he said?
Yo, I heard what he said, man.
Was he pretty spot on?
To me per se, though, like I appreciate the love that he's showing, but I don't know if that necessarily applies to me,
Okay. So does your baby mother, or are you with your baby mother right now?
No, not at all. We're never gonna be together.
No. Okay.
But
okay.
I'm not
sorry to
saying
hear
she's a
that.
bad person or nothing like that. We just don't mix.
Can I ask? You just don't mix. You don't mix. Was it good at one point?
Yeah, like we connected, but just over time, I wanted something and she didn't want it. I was looking to, I was trying to push towards like a marriage, and she didn't want to be married. She wanted to be single. So that's just what ended up happening.
Okay, so at some point or another, she maybe gave you the hint that she wanted to get married, or you just really loved her essentially, and she didn't respond to you.
I wanted to get married.
Okay, so she never showed signs of wanting to get married at all.
At that time, when I think it was a good time for us to push forward. We had the kids, we had the house, we had the car, we had everything going. I had the business going. I thought it was like the perfect time. Like, hey, like let's work towards getting married.
She
Fair
didn't want to
enough.
do that. She wanted to be single.
Why didn't you marry her before you had kids?
Man, I listen. I grew up a certain way, right? I came from the hood, right? So
Right.
I grew up a certain way. Those kind of things didn't make sense to me. I seen a lot of delinquent couples, so I didn't want to be a part of that. So I figured I'll do it my own way. You know? But then
I hear you, man.
As I grew into being a father and stuff like that, I started thinking differently. Like, hey, maybe me and this woman should get married. Like, this just makes a good idea. And when I brought it to her, she was kind of on the time that I was in the past. She didn't want to she wasn't trying to grow with me. She wanted to stay on that old stuff.
So was everything okay until you brought up marriage, essentially?
I mean, relationships are rocky. It's not like a perfect relationship, but
I hear you. I hear
I
you.
was trying to do the right thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Hey, fair enough. I'm not gonna try and
I'm not shitting on women at all. That's my specific situation.
Right.
For other dudes, it'd be probably love. They would have got what they wanted. It didn't work for me. I'm not saying that's for every man out there. That's just my specific situation. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, definitely, man.
That's
Definitely.
fair?
Yeah, fair enough. So going back to you, Noble Signer, I don't know if that answered your question. He said it didn't necessarily apply to him, but maybe their relationship just didn't work out. So I don't know if she has children with somebody else. I don't think that she does. He didn't say that she did.
But there's multiple women within the black community who have kids by multiple men, and usually the men ain't worth spit, ain't worth two flies rubbed together. And we all know women like that.
There's multiple men that have a bunch of women. They have a bunch of different baby mamas too.
Ma'am, you're actually right about that, but that's because these women are having sex with the same low tier guys. That's why you have a guy.
I want to hear a little bit about you, Noble. I want to hear a little bit about you. You're interesting. You're an interesting person. So right now at this point, you're a provider. Would you say? Hands with the golden dove wants to know: would you classify yourself as a provider?
I'm not giving you any personal information about me, sir.
That means heck no. I don't provide nothing.
That's a big no.
Yo,
I don't provide nothing but air. But hot air. That's all I provide.
You got a lot to say, man.
Y'all can say this or no, whatever you want to say. You can assume what you want. I'm not giving. I'm sticking on the topic. I'm not giving you any personal information about me.
This is the topic. I'm saying this. I'm not trying to put you
on. The topic isn't about me personally. We're talking about the community, not me personally.
But are you not a part of the community?
I'm a part of the community, but this isn't personally about me.
Well. Here's the thing: if you're going to talk about people personally, then
I'm not
we're going to
talking
ask
about
you.
people personally.
I'm talking about the overall.
I'm talking about the general community.
But here's what I want to say to you, Noble. Here's what I want to say to you. Hold on. At what point do we tie in personal actions to the generalities in the community? For instance, and I use you as an example. If you aren't a provider now, would you not, in essence, be a part of the large community of black men that don't classify as providers? Do you understand what I mean?
I didn't tell you if I was a provider.
Oh no, I'm just trying to get you. No, I'm just trying to get you to understand what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Repeat what you
said. That's why. So I'm asking you if you're a provider because I want to see if you're a member of the general community of black men that aren't providers. That's the only reason I asked. I'm not trying to dig into your information. I'm just trying to see if you are a part of the community that we're talking about right now. Does that make sense?
And I would ask you, why do you need to know that?
Well, I just told you because I want to see if you're a part of the general community. Because here's the thing, Noble.
Why do you need to know?
And I'll ask you. You're talking in generalities, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you if you're a part of the general community that we talk about here. Does that make sense or no?
That makes sense. Listen.
I'm listening.
That makes sense. We're talking about me personally, but we're talking about the group.
Okay, Noble, you fought a good battle. I'm gonna put you on mute for a second. Some of our watchers are getting a bit antsy. Jedi Mike, I think he might have something to add to this and to help clarify some things for us. I see we're going towards the satirical type of stream right now, and I like the satirical type streams. There's a lot of fun. We've kind of gotten all the serious stuff out of the way. Now we can kind of have some fun here in a little bit. And Noble, I know you're passionate, man. I appreciate you being here. Jedi, did you want to say something to him really quickly?
Yes. I very much, you complaining, talking about, I don't know, Mitch, I put this in the chat. If you're saying that these women are sleeping, with the same dude, But and we asking you questions because I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like deflection. If you have all this smoke you want to give, and then when it's time to show receipts, you have nothing to say. Then I'm like, to me, it's just like, what is that? Are you actually me? Are you standing on? Because I understand that you can using, do motivation, his experience and stuff like that, and no disrespect to him, but just like you using his, experience to validate your argument, not your own experiences. And I'm just wanting to understand, asking you is like, what are you? I'm not trying to ask you. I'm not asking for your fucking, social security number. I'm just asking you that what part you play in the community and benefiting into the argument of this. Because as much you say, I'm talking about all this. This is our problem. Even though I'm not a father yet, but this is also part of my problem. This is part of our image. So that I'm talking about, it's like, where are you actually standing in terms of conversation in our community to actually be a benefit to provide a solution instead of just complaining, making excuses like, oh, women are this. That's all I'm asking you, bro.
Absolutely. And let me read this $5 super chat from Devon Smith. Jedi Mike on the money right there. Men who are critiquing people with receipts that they lack for their own personal lives. It's just like, you got to show something. So well said by Jedi Mike. Devon Smith with the $5 super chat says, this man comes on every channel with the same soliloquy. You can definitely tell he comes from a place of hurt. I hear that as well. It definitely sounds like a place of hurt. And we'll ask him. Let's ask Noble in 1 second. Give me 1 second, Noble. We'll come back to you. $20 super chat just from VP Low says, I don't understand this belief that black women are only interested in Pookies and Ray Ray. Sorry. Doctors, lawyers, engineers. I think we prefer those men.
Absolutely.
This is
I don't know what
something-
this narrative is. I
We
don't know
want
why people
doctors.
say this. I want black men to like understand, like y'all act like the community is full of doctors, lawyers, and judges, and artists and engineers, and all these high different, awesome choices. No, and it's not. Why would I choose somebody that has nothing when I could choose someone that has at least something?
ma'am, engineers and doctors.
Hold on, Noble.
I just want. Can I just please?
I'm sorry, Noble. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ma'am, engineers and doctors aren't plentiful in any community. It's rare for
Not
anyone.
in our community, they're
no,
not.
in any community, ma'am. It's rare
Not
for
in black
anyone.
community,
I disagree. I disagree. I'm a college student. I'm majoring in engineering. I'm the only black dude in that fucking class.
That doesn't invalidate the point I'm making. Actually, it helps supports my point, dude.
I was the only black person in my university as well. I'm always the token wherever I go. I'm always the only black person wherever I go.
Y'all aren't invalidating the point I was making. I was saying that in any community, it's not filled with a bunch of doctors and lawyers and engineers. Most communities are filled with just working class, or just filled with working class people who are making around middle income, somewhere between $24,000 and $50,000.
Now, Noble,
why is there so many Asian people in the medical field? How come there's so many white people in the business field?
Ma'am, that doesn't mean that all of them are in
it doesn't matter.
field.
I didn't say all of them. It doesn't have to be all of them. Can I have some?
But
Can I have one?
there he go, putting words in her mouth, ma'am. And then,
hold on.
Can I have 6?
Hold on, Noble. Okay, let's be honest here. Okay, let's be honest. Jedi Mike will give you 1 second. Let's be honest, Noble. Okay, we did a live stream in the past showing the numbers and the differences between high studied people, in particular doctors, and the breakdown of races. Okay, black people were dead last. Black men were dead last. Every other race was above black men. The whites and the
I hear you, and I
okay.
and I,
Well, let's
I
listen.
agree
Hold on.
with you. I agree.
Okay.
But wait 1 second.
Hold on. I know who raised them. I know. I get it. So we're not saying that everybody as an Asian is in the community of doctorateship, if that's even the right way to describe that. What we are saying is that there is a stereotype that we do joke about, that Asian parents make their children become doctors, that Asian parents make their children become engineers. We joke about this because there's some truth to that stereotype, as is there truth with just about every other stereotype for the most part, some level of truth. Now, the numbers is what we truly want to look at, because not all stereotypes are true. However, the numbers do show a much higher propensity to Asians and whites becoming more educated in compared to blacks. Okay, those numbers are there. We're not saying everybody in the Asian community is a doctor, but what we are saying is that there are far more white and Asian doctors, and Latinos in some cases, than there are black doctors. That's just a fact, man. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. I get that. I get the point of semantics and the argument that you have. I just want to make it very known and clear. that the numbers truly do reflect a very disparaging difference, very large gap in difference between Black, high educated people and other races. That's just a fact, man. Let's read this $25 super chat. Welcome back to you. Suda Africana Mommy has graced us with her presence. She's going to go ahead and drop bombs in a second. $25 super chat from Darren Marion says the reason Goldman Sachs is giving the women an economic benefit is due to the fact that they are the most economically disadvantaged groups of people in the U.S. is an attempt at restorative justice. That wouldn't be a very fiscally responsible move for Goldman Sachs to just throw $10 billion away. That wouldn't make much sense. I can tell you that an investment banker firm or an investment brokerage firm, capitalistic venture type banks don't become the level of Goldman Sachs just by doing community service or politically correct.
It's not charity. People,
it's not charity work for sure. This is
charity.
very
It's not
calculated. Goldman Sachs nobody just gives away money just for the sake of political correctness, my friend. Make no mistake about it. If that was the case, then black people would be the richest community in the world if that was the case, right? Because Black Lives Matters is huge, this, and that. That's not the case at all. We've discussed this as well. Darren, go ahead and look at the live stream. I forget where we broke down the numbers of entrepreneurship amongst female entrepreneurs in the Black community, but I believe in the last 5 years, there's been a 450 or 500% increase of Black female-owned businesses per year. And so they're looking at the amount of money that they could be making from investing in Black female-owned businesses. That's why they're giving them $10 billion. Make no mistake about it. $10,000 million, no company, I don't care how big they are, will ever just throw away for the sake of political correctness. That's insanity, man. But thank you for the $25 super chat. Suda Africana Mommy is on the panel. The floor is yours, Suda.
Hello everybody. The dust is real in here.
God bless you, Suda. God bless you. It's strong in here tonight.
No, I wanted to touch on like a few things some of the men had mentioned earlier in regards to this whole marriage thing and the stats. I feel like, honestly, honest truth, I feel like they just like coming for you because they don't like the fact that you are telling the truth. And I also like the fact that you had mentioned that in the Black community, for instance, a girl could be like 5'11" or maybe even taller, and she could weigh 200 pounds. They'll still call her a linebacker, you know, even though she's she's very fit, but it's just because of her height, and they'll still make fun of her weight. Also, like this one guy had mentioned, I think it was Truck. I believe Truck had said that he has children, right? And I'm not sure if he's married to any of his whether it's one woman with 2 children or 2 different women. My thing is that, Truck, you are contributing to the broken families that you supposedly talking about, oh yeah, it's the woman's fault that they get pregnant. You decided to leave your genetic material in somebody else. That's your responsibility. You can't go around and have unprotected sex with women and expect her not to get pregnant. Where do they do that at? I swear it's only in the Black community. Like it's only with us. You guys love to blame your woman. I'm not even from America. I moved to America and I see it for what it is. I will see a lady with a one man, for instance, she'll have a child with a person, and the guy would completely abandon the child because he doesn't want to deal with her. Oh, she's gonna lose her attitude. You knew about the attitude before you were even fucking her. So I'm confused as to when did she magically have this attitude. And Honest was right. Yes, some women do pull fast ones on you guys, and we're not talking about those ones. We are talking about a sense of take some responsibility for what you create. You cannot be out here being irresponsible, having sex without protection with multiple women and not care. You listen and you follow people who talk about pump and dump. Like, what the hell? You're supposed to not even want to listen to people like that. Because guess what? You're going to have a daughter one day, and somebody in the community is going to do the same thing to her. And then what are you going to do? And by the way, like, I also like.
One second, no, we'll let you go in 1 second.
No, well, first of all, sir, clear your throat before you even address me, okay? And get out of the basement too, because I can barely hear you, okay? Don't come for me unless I sent for you, and I was not talking to you. Anyway, in regards to the other guy again, like the guy with the two with his that has a company. I'm very proud of you of having a business, but this thing is also in the communities, like a lot of times the black dudes expect us to give them props for doing the fucking right thing. We can't give you props for the living a life for yourself first before a woman comes to you. And honesty is right. We follow guys who do well for themselves. Because why? We don't want to be worried about, especially when it comes to finances. If a woman falls pregnant and you guys are married and stuff, she doesn't want to be worried about going to work for 9 months and going to work after 6 weeks after having a baby. We don't want to be worried about stuff like that. And that's why I preach divest or die. Blackistan is dead. Thank you.
Absolutely. Suda Africana, always just on the money. $10 super chat we just received. Thank you so much for the super chats tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have been wonderful. I appreciate that a lot, guys. Really do. Anju says, I was one of the nerdy conservative black girls at my high school and/or college, and I wasn't exactly the first pick for black boys. I still grew up to value black men, just saying. This is something that I see particularly that's fascinating in the notion of the gender wars that we talk about, which is that black women still haven't completely gone haywire on black men. You don't see many channels with 1 million subscribers talking and calling black men Glocktaviuses and things like that. Most of the time, these will be much smaller channels in comparison to the men-like channels like Kevin Scamios or AMS, Alpha Male Strategies, the guy we watched earlier. You'll see a much higher propensity for the men to go completely haywire in their hatred, to go completely left field in their hatred against women. And women are just, hey, they might say something every once in a while, but by and large, if given the opportunity, they'll still date a black man, right? Something about men has just changed changed inside of them internally to where they've just gone completely left field, completely out of line, right? And I appreciate that comment, Anju. That's a very good comment. Something I have noticed: these dudes are out of control. Out of control. We have one space on the panel. Somebody keeps trying to join, so the space is on the panel. Make sure that you get in really quickly. We have one space left. I'll drop the link if you want to hop on the panel. There it is. Somebody was trying to get in. A lot. Dasher, I haven't heard you say much, Dasher. Did you want to say something really quickly? Dasher, let me unmute you really quickly. Go ahead, Dasher. Pretty sure Dasher's AFK right now. All right, Dasher's AFK. We have one more space on the panel. If you're trying to get in, go ahead. The time is now. Aries, the floor is yours. Go ahead. Aries, going once.
Dasher's AFK. We have one more space. Hey.
Hi.
Aries, the floor is yours. Go.
Hi, oh, okay. Aries, make sure you turn. Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. Make sure you turn off YouTube, Aries, and that you're actually listening through the StreamYards app or website.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good. Go ahead, Aries.
Okay, yeah. Hey, The Honest Truth. I enjoy your show, so thanks for being on tonight. I actually had a question for some of the black men on the panel, including Truck, and I just kind of wanted to respond to one of his comments.
Sure.
Okay, so I keep hearing this gripe about black women and them working and kind of achieving some of these occupations, and you guys saying you want to marry a woman who is not working and doing all these different things. And I just want to know what reality these black men live in to think that black women can have a gym membership and eat healthy and keep our hair done and our nails done and our figures looking good and be cute without a job. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. It's kind of like, I don't know. Like, I know for me, my parents didn't make enough to make sure that I'm straight every month. So of course, black women, we like nice things. We like to keep our hair and nails done. We like to go to the gym. Like, we have to be able to afford that. I feel like no black woman wants to live in poverty. No black woman wants to go without. So that's why we attain positions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we spoke about it. I'll let Truck go on in 1 second. We spoke about it. Is black women are supposed to somehow I mean, just be perfect in all aspects. They're expected to do everything, man. I mean, you have to raise the kids. You have to provide 50-50 now because apparently most of the black guys don't make enough to be able to sustain a household with just one income. You have to be submissive in the same time. You got to do the dishes. You got to stay fit. You have to be able to cook a perfectly keto balanced diet and then plan out all the meals a month in advance. You have to be able to tell astronomical signs. You have to be able to know how to do seaside navigation so you can go sailing. I mean, it's like Jesus Christ, man. Y'all want black women to figure out a way to put us on Saturn, you know? And it was a black woman that actually was the first. She was the one that solved the equations to put people on the moon to begin with. So I don't know. I think that's a great point. They want you to do so much. They give you crumbs and expect you somehow to create a 5-course meal. It's just, but it goes back to that compassion, that lack of humanity that's just inside of the black men in our community. No compassion, man. No compassion. Devin Smith with a $5 super chat said, to all my black women, I'm sorry and I love you. Thank you, Devin. Not a black woman, but I'm sure they appreciate that, and I appreciate the kind words. Chris 101K is new on the channel. I haven't seen your name, Chris. Go ahead. The floor is yours, Chris.
All right. Thank you. I have one question. What do you expect the nice guys to do? Because it seems like you're really bashing, men, and kind of just taking all the blame on us, which is fine because we are men. But what do you expect us to do? Like, if we're doing everything right, we still can't find a woman. That's my first question.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a good question. So is that you in this case? And 1 second, to the people that are trying to enter, give me 1 second. I'll clear some space off of the panel. If you want to hop the panel, by all means, you can hop off. You don't have to, but I'll clear some space in 1 second. I know a lot of people are trying to join. It looks like I need to get the professional plan here so I can have 12 people in the studio in a little bit. So I'll upgrade on the next live stream. Chris, going back to you, is that you in particular? You can't really claim, or you can't get a woman, or?
Well, personally, me, I mean, I'm only 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I should be really looking towards that. But I mean, from my personal experience, I probably say that is me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very nice. Like, I feel like at my age, I'm a provider in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do a lot. I can do a lot in a relationship. I can do a lot. You know what I'm saying? For somebody, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an athlete. I have 2 jobs. Like, I do a lot for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I've always kind of lived in that type of, okay, I need to do for myself. Stay away from all that.
So have you ever had a girlfriend?
Yes, I had one.
Okay, you've had one. Okay, are you in college right now?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you studying?
Computer science.
Well, I tell you what, man. Listen, you get that computer science degree, you're going to be doing pretty well for yourself. You'll have no problem getting a girl once you graduate college, okay? Trust me on that. My uncle has a computer science degree, and he is well over 6 figures. He's in the mid 6 figures, so he's making $400,000 to $500,000. But he's been with the company he works with for 15 plus years, which is Sprint at this point. And so this is the way that life is designed, Chris. The way life is designed for men is that early on, if you handle your responsibilities and priorities, your payoff in life is going to be much higher. It'll pay dividends for you. With life, you either can work hard now and play later, or you can play now and work hard later. And in your case, you're doing the hard work right now. And guess what? The hard work isn't fun. In life, you have to judge yourself and you have to prove yourself worthy or accountable in every aspect, right? The people who do good in life, the people who get women, unless you just are an extremely good looking guy, right? Which obviously that happens, unless you're just, I mean, you have a mouthpiece of a god and you can just talk or woo your way into a woman's life, which that happens sometimes. Some guys have that. I don't have that. Unless you're one of those types of guys, what you're going to have to do to give yourself the best advantages to compete, because make no mistake about it, it is a competition, is to make sure that you're handling and doing exactly what you're doing right now, right? Which is making sure that you get a degree in which you can make a decent amount of money to compete in the dating market, all right? To compete for attention, because make no mistake about it, this dating is a competition, man. It's a competition to see who is the best type of man, right? That's all it is.
I understand that, but at the same, this is how I get to my second question though.
Sure.
So if you're, yes, I believe in that too. And I heard you say stuff about Kevin Samuels. You know, I feel like as a man, you should be able to interpret both sides of a viewpoint. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, if you're going to bash him, you're essentially doing the same things on the flip side. If you're saying that men have to do the dirty work now and to benefit later, we have to hold women to that type of standard as well. Because we're holding women to a standard of, they can mess around right now and later they're gonna find
Well, no, Chris, I'm not saying that. This is what I'm saying, Chris. Listen to what I'm saying very clearly, okay? That's what I'm saying. Lose that victim mentality and mindset. This is what's going to help you, all right? Just listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else that's told you anything, okay? You get that degree. You do well for yourself. I'm going to put you on mute for a second because your mic is kind of choppy. Get that degree. Do well for yourself. Get a decent, moderately high-paying job, or at least try to. Get it with a good company with a computer science degree, and you'll find a woman. All the rest of that isn't going to help you to find a woman. All that wanting a woman to submit to you just because you're a man and that you have a potential future ahead of you, none of that's going to get you a woman, man. So all those good thoughts, all those well feelings and all that, I deserve this and I deserve that, lose it. You're going to stay losing, okay? Just work your ass off. Work your ass off, get that degree, and make money. All right. Pull up in a BMW M Series, pull up in an SRT8, pull up in something nice. All right. Maybe a Mustang GT, and she's going to hop into the car. Listen to what I'm saying, man. All right. Just listen to what I'm saying. Trust me. Get the money, bro, and everything else will follow after that. All right. Because good hopes. Sure. 1 second. Good hopes and good faith. That's not going to change anything for you, bro. You're going to always say this isn't fair. This isn't it. Just forget all that other bull crap. Go get the money. Go ahead.
Okay. So, all right. My final thing. So,
sure.
Why would I get a girl? Why would I want that? Like,
yeah. Well, it's not.
What benefit do we get from working our ass off the right way to get somebody who's going to meet us at the finish line?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. And that's a good question. I know a lot of the times it can be hard to understand. It feels like she only wants you for the money or so, right? I know you just heard Sud Africana Mommy tell you about her own personal experience and how she feels. Listen, if a woman's going to bear your child, if you want to have a woman that's going to be able to have your children someday, she doesn't want to have to go back to work at a certain amount of time or a certain period of time, right? She wants to be able to have the child, maybe stay at home for a while, do this, do that, right? And so it's in your best interest, not just hers, it's in your best interest to be able to be the type of man that could provide a lifestyle for her that she wouldn't typically be able to find outside of you. And this is why I say work on yourself first, okay? So you're thinking it as if it's a problem that women want the best type of man. We all want the best, Chris, all right? We all want the best, bro. We all want Ferraris. We all want a lot of money. We all want big houses. This is human nature. What I'm telling you is that in order for you to win, make yourself the best, because human nature lends itself over to the winners. The people that win. Why is it in your best interest to make money and have women meet you at the finish line? Because ultimately, you're going to A, have a woman, B, you're going to have a much better situation for yourself and your woman and your family, and C, because in life, you want to do the best that you can, man. You want to do the best you can. Listen, not all women are going to just seek you because you have money. There are some women that'll date guys and they don't care about money as much. So this isn't all women. But what I'm telling you is that making the most amount of money isn't just for a woman. That's for you as well. Okay? This is for you too, man. Okay? This is good for you. Trust me on that. It's not all about the women. I know that the manosphere always talks about the women and that they need to be able to build with you and this and that. Listen, do you not want to do the best that you can as well? Just do the best for you, and then the rest will happen, man. Don't even focus on the women right now. Work on yourself, and the women will come.
I understand everything that you're saying right now. It's nothing that I disagree with, but the only thing, specifically for me, because I also play football as well, so I have a different mentality towards, that. Like, I used to be really bad at football. Now, you know what I'm saying, I'm a college athlete. So, you know what I'm saying, my mindset from starting from the bottom is different. The way I see it, it's not desert. Like, if I'm working my whole life, I'm not going to be as appreciative to a woman meeting me at the finish line as opposed to her seeing that mindset, chasing the mindset. You're saying, okay, work on yourself, have that success. They're chasing the success. They're not chasing your mindset.
As
So
as women should, as women should, because Chris, here's the thing: do you not want women to go after the more successful guys? Do you not want women to want that?
Chase the mindset. If you chase a good
Well,
guy with mindset,
listen, mindset does not pay bills, Chris. Okay, you're very young, so let me just tell you that the idea of love will not pay rent. You understand that?
Not love. Nah.
Well, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, Chris.
Yeah, I understand.
Chris,
Okay. Yes.
if you don't hear what I'm saying now, man, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble, bro. I'm just telling you right now. Just trust me, man. Take it from somebody that went homeless for 5 years, bro. All right. I slept in my car for 5 years. All right. Mindsets don't pay the bills. They never have and they never will. Money pays the bills. There's no girl that wants to be with you if you can't pay your bills, and she shouldn't want to be with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes 100% sense.
Okay, so that's all we're saying. I get that. That's why I'm saying keep your mindset and go get the money, and then the rest takes care of itself. All that other mindset BS, that's for the birds, bro. None of that's gonna work, man. Just trust me on that. All right. Listen to the past live streams as well. It's a good question. I appreciate you, Chris. You can stay on the panel for a little bit. Jedi Mike wants to say something to you really quickly.
Yeah, man, dude, you're younger than me. You're 20 years old. You don't even know what's gonna happen in you next 2 years. And I'm sorry, I want to say this to you because like I'm look like I'm talking to a mirror because like your mindset is something I had like years ago. Because I understand, like you're in that age right now. You say you're computer science. I'm engineering. Well, and I just want you to listen to me. And I want you to kind of just I want you to hold your mindset out the window for a minute. I just want you to listen. Women are the least of your priority right now. I'm like right now. It's like you don't understand that.
Thank you for saying that.
There's a freaking distraction, and as not only just as an engineering, but as a black man in engineering and computer science, IT, mechanical engineering, all that stuff, I can tell you that folks are going to see that in you and going to try to take advantage of your progress. That's what I'm saying is that you focusing on women right now is the least of your worries. If anything, a distraction. All that stuff you're saying about in the finish line, well, you might not even make it if you're focusing on this right now. And you're asking about what is the purpose about mindset? No, mindset while execution is nothing. Is nothing. And I'm saying that when you have to focus on what you're doing right now about your priorities and your responsibilities as a man, you barely don't know what's going to happen. And I really say this to folks even before the ages of like 21. So when I hear when you're saying you're 20, I'm just like, dude, you don't even know what's going to happen in the next year. You know, and I'm just like, you don't even know what's coming to you. And I'm speaking to you as place of sincerity because like I've been where you at. I was also an athlete too. I was in basketball. But my thing was that even then, I had to make sure that I focus and not get distracted on this. And it is a lonely path. I mentioned this about here that this path, the journey into is like a lonely path in terms of people prospering. That's why there's there's not like a lot of kings who are there's a scarcity in our community of actual high quality men because it takes risk, meaning that I have to risk going to that party, risk going to my friends smoking and drinking, risk going to investing into things that don't matter, like wasting my time to executing a passive income, getting side hustles, also checking my ego and checking my pride. Well, man, I'm trying to be a millionaire. I don't want to go work at freaking McDonald's or something like that while I'm a college student, not knowing that in that season, you actually doing those jobs, actually bearing your mentality, actually knowing that executing to have ambition to move forward. What you're having right now is not, it's just a waste of your time. And then when you're saying about what the woman is, when you have that not being your priority, what then increases in your mindset as a man is one thing that a lot of men that we don't have. It's called discernment. When you have discernment, when you realize knowing that, okay, I can assess the women. I even talked this in previous podcast by having a vetting process. A lot of us, we just want to chase tail and just come to us. But no, there's a standard when you come meet me because I earned my fucking credit. So I'm saying is that not everyone is gonna come and just say, well, I like you, Michael, so let's do it. Oh, no. That's not how it works here, at least for me, because I wasted my time because I spent the time actually building my character, building my mindset, my resources, and that's why I spent 5 years doing double majoring in my degree. Because I knew where I'm going, and I listened to my father, and my mother tell me not to waste my time. Now, yes, I'm young. Have I made mistakes like in that past? Of course I have. But at least I didn't make no drastic case like getting somebody pregnant. That's going to screw up everything. So when you get to that finish line, you're like, well, damn, I'm already 6 feet ahead of everybody else. I have a child to take care of. Not knowing that you can be like, when you spend the time, like when years from now, where you might be even 28, 30 or 35, knowing that you have to be the best mindset. Because as an engineer, you're not even going to reap your benefits till you reach at 35. And I'm just telling you right now, the first, as someone doing internships right now who actually seeing this, you're actually not going to be going into different businesses, different corporations, and knowing that this is a scarcity, that it is competitive. And with competitive meaning that I have to have time to execution. But what happened is that us in the Black community, we've lost this mindset of saying like, well, I don't see what I'm coming right now. I don't actually see what I'm happening. The women are again going after these other folks and stuff, and also some of these women are not quote quote I have the master mindset and stuff. I'm telling you, when you actually focus on purpose, I have to ask you a personal question. I don't know what your end goal is in terms of marriage, having children, everything, but in terms of me, my goal is purpose and prosperity. Meaning that, okay, well, when that happens, when I reach and when I earn as a king in training, when I earn my freaking throne that I built, that I know that all that stuff gonna happen, and then my queen gonna be on my side when she's there, in terms of God's timing. When it happens, it's because of my mindset. And it's all about the law of attraction. There's books about this. You can go on this and everything that the mindset matches everything. You attract what you are, and you attract what's your, and you're also a product, not only just your environment, but more importantly, your choices. And I just encourage you, as just from man to man, or man to be, is like, listen, you need to stop. Women are the least of your problems. So when you were talking about the issue, is one having an opinion about this, but man, you're wasting your time on this. You need to put your head down, work on the stuff that matters, go get a job, work on your degree, doing sports and stuff like that, but also associating yourself with people, like-minded people that's going to push you forward, not set you back.
And I want to say something, Jedi Mike, with absolute fire there. Loren, I'll let you go in 1 second. I want to say something, Chris. I know it could be tough, and this is why I make this channel, because Kevin Scamuel's the commenter said, has these dudes just all over the place. Chris, I know you've seen the movie 300. It's based off of the Spartans, the Battle of Thermopylae. It's somewhat fictional in some cases, but I did a lot of research on the Spartans. They were the greatest warriors that ever lived, and they lived by a very strict code. Spartans couldn't get married until the age of 35. They couldn't get with the woman until the age of 35. It was very strict on the level of growth that they had to develop. So from age 7 to 11 or 5 to 11, they had to do combat training. And then after age 11, they went into the woods to live in the woods for a week to see if they could last. And they had to come back home. From age 12 to 20 something, they were in the army. And after they went to war a couple of times, then they could live in a certain spot in the village. And then at age 35, they could finally get with the woman. But they understood that being with a woman, being able to provide or lay or produce or reproduce with a woman, that took a certain level of man, and they didn't want just any man being able to lay down and get with women. That's why they were the greatest warriors in the history of mankind. That's why we make movies about them and their folklore thousands and thousands of years later, right? And so I like to apply that to your situation nowadays. In this case, the best man are the ones that go through the trials and the flames and the persecution and go through essentially hell and back to prove themselves worthy of the huge responsibility of raising children, rearing children in socio-capitalistic America. And like I said, going back to it, and for you to make more money and do better than most men, you'll want to see your woman in that position, bro. When a woman knows that her man can make money and handle business, she will treat you like a king that none of these Negroids in the manosphere will ever get to experience, because they're all going to stay in their dustiness. They'll all stay stagnant in life. They'll all expect women to treat them like a king without actually earning the position of a king. But once you actually earn the position of a king, man, you'll see a side of women. You'll see a side to women that none of these men will ever be able to explain to you, because they haven't experienced it for themselves. So like Jedi Mike said, do the work first. I know you've been listening to this indoctrination, man. I know you've been listening to this, and I know it's going to be hard to get through to you, but try and understand that the byproduct of what a woman provides to you is simply an indirect effect of the work that you put in as a man, right? That's all it is. Is it nice to have women? Yes, right? It's great. But when you're talking about bringing a family into this world, you want to make sure that they can handle themselves. You want to make sure that you can handle them. You want to make sure that you can provide for them, that you can pay for this. This costs money, bro. This costs money. And so it's best for you and your woman. They're not just going for the winners at the finish line just to go for them. There's a reason. There's a reason for this, and you should want to actively be a part of that reason, man. It's for you and them as well. I think that's a great question.
But wait a second, sir.
Oh, hold on, Noble. Noble, not now, Noble. And Noble, we're going to clear some space. Noble, you're the one that needed to speak right there. Noble's voice is so unique. Noble's voice is so unique. Don't listen to Dusties like Noble, Chris, because you're going to end up alone just like him. He's alone right now. Okay? Keep on listening to the dudes that don't have felony. No, I can't even say that because that's not right. That's judging people.
Can I please tell him something real fast, honest?
Sure,
because
Lauren,
it's
go
like,
ahead. I'm sorry,
it's like the problem with this high value pimp, Kevin Samuels, is that he actually makes men, especially young men like you, put women on a pedestal. y'all black men are so not used to seeing themselves as winners and seeing themselves in the best, highest possible position. He got y'all scared and terrified as far as who's going to use you, what's going to happen. How come a woman isn't with me every step of the way? Why does a woman need to be with you every step of the way? By the time you get to the finish line, you're the one who's at the finish line, and then you're at prime real estate. You are within prime real estate to take whatever pick you want to take. You don't have to put nobody. You're 20 years old. Why are you even worried about relationships right now? You shouldn't be talking to nobody. Please don't get nobody pregnant. Don't worry about building with the woman. That's not your job. And your job right now is to build yourself as a man, and that's it. That's your only job as a man right now. Is to go to school, keep your head down, work hard, make your money, and by the time you get to the finish line, everything you want will be there. And it's going to be whatever you want to pick is going to be at your disposal and at your choosing. You're going to be in the best possible position to choose. And I don't understand how come men just think life is all about where a woman is. How, is she going to be next to me? Is she going to be with me? Does she really, want me? Is she really going to be here? A woman's job is to go for the best. Okay. That's the woman's job. A man's job is to be the best. Okay. Women need to be the best for themselves as well. But all of this freaking finish line and you want her to hold your hand the whole way. No, go do what you got to do as a man and get what you need and leave it at that. Why are you even worried about dating at all?
I got one thing to say, because I was listening. I make sure to listen before I come on, as respect. But one of the things I heard was you guys talking about, marrying at the right, time, and also having kids before marriage. And I just feel like, yes, you can say that, okay, we shouldn't be focusing on that, but that doesn't mean that it's not important. I feel like I'm 20, yes, but I need to understand these types of things now so that I can have, kids at the right time, so I can understand, okay, marriage before kids. I just feel like it matters. And second of all, another thing that I was gonna say, it's not holding a hand for somebody supporting you at the start. It's not.
But you don't need that. You don't need that. That's not a woman's job to do that. It's your job. That's what makes you a man. That's what makes you the man. When you grow up and become that best, highest value man, you did that. It doesn't matter if she was there or not. You rely on your parents, rely on your mother.
And one second, y'all. 1 second, Truck. I'm gonna go ahead and take you off for now. I know you got a lot going on, but I'm gonna take you off. Truck, make sure you come back though. Or Truck, if you want to, just take your camera off. We're just getting a lot of distractions going on over there right now. A lot of distractions. But I appreciate Truck. You can stay on, Truck. Just turn the camera off for now.
Wow.
I appreciate though. So Chris, I want to let you keep going for a second.
Okay.
So here's the thing, Chris and Dasher. I know you want to talk. I'll let you talk in 1 second, Dasher. Sorry about the audio quality as well, ladies and gentlemen. I had to put everybody on mute because all of our mics are a little bit different. And my connection is not the best, so I'm the host connection. But here's the thing, Chris. At the end of the day, it's more attractive as a man for you to figure out your solutions, for you to figure out your life. Women like that. Women like that edge, that attractiveness, that masculinity inside of a man to be able to take care of a problem or figure out a problem or to build himself up. You have to be very careful when you start trying to lean on a woman or trying to feel like, you need a woman beside you to help you and do this. That's not, I don't want to say it's not masculine. It's because I know you're young. You're only 20, man. And so you'll be seen as clingy. Women will see you as clingy. Girls will see you as clingy. They'll see you as like the type of guy that always needs to text them or hit them up or something like that. And girls don't like that a lot of the time, man. I'll just be completely honest with you. Girls like a guy that's about his purpose. Once again, I know you're young, you're 20, but just take it from me. Girls like a guy that knows what he's doing in life, that doesn't necessarily need her, right? She wants to feel like she can walk into your world. She doesn't want to feel like you have to walk in a world with her together. She wants to walk into a new world that you're able to provide. She wants to hop in your car and ride around. She doesn't want to have to make the decision on where you're going out to eat. She wants to be able to essentially ride off of the choices, the good choices that you've made, to lead her into great new levels of progression in life. That's what women love to do. And when you're able to provide that for a woman, then you're able to get a side of a woman that lends itself over to your masculinity, which is her femininity, which is her compliance naturally, right? This is the natural progression of things. But when you start looking for a woman to provide certain levels of sustainability or certain for her to have your back in this way and do that, that's not what women are designed for. Women are designed to follow you, right? So women are designed to follow the man, or at least to be able to accompany a man as he kind of walks through his journey, and she can walk through the journey with him. But she isn't designed to always have his back. Now, society in the Black community has forced a lot of women to have the man's back, right? But when a woman's truly in her best, the thing that she loves most about a man is when she sees a man that is taking care of business, and she can find ways to add to him just like he adds to her life. It's a yin and yang relationship. But when you start twisting the roles, the traditional roles, then things get a bit twisted, right? So women are great at some things and men are great at some things as well. And when the men do good things that they're good at really well, then the women do things that they're good at really well. That's when you get the most dynamic and the most beautiful relationship possible, man. So I hear what you're saying, but once again, that 50-50 type relationship thing, it'll never work out, because if you want your woman to submit, then she's going to ask, what is she submitting to? And if you're going to need her to do so many different various, things in life, if you're going to need her support, need her encouragement and things like that, she's eventually going to get a little tired of that, man. She's going to see you as a little clingy and annoying. She's not going to see you as a man. She'll see you as a boy, right?
I understand everything that you're saying, but I have a question. Like, okay, so if our main goal is our purpose, that technically by your rules we don't need a woman. So my thing is, it's like,
well, and that's your prerogative too. If you don't want a woman, Chris, then by all means you can make out and you can live life without a woman.
Can I interject on this one?
Sure. Just 1 second, Toya. I'll just say this and I'll let you go. Yeah, Chris, I hear what you're saying, but that's your choice as well too, man. But at the same point, you can't complain if that's the route that you want to go. Now, I know you want women. We all want women as men, right?
Yeah.
So
I want somebody who's gonna add to what I'm doing. I'm not gonna take somebody that's gonna hop on to what I'm doing.
But Chris, if you want somebody that's going to add to what you're doing, then I'm telling you, you're not going to end up getting the best thing.
Don't you say that's masculine if the woman comes with things that she's adding? Isn't that like a masculine role that you don't care about?
It's not masculine because it's not. My thing is, it's not all about me. Like, it's about the other person too. Like, I feel like in a relationship, like, even though I'm young, in a relationship, it's about attention to the other person. Like, I just
let me let Chris 1 second, Chris. Let me let Toya go. Then Suda, you can go after Toya. Go ahead, Toya.
Hi, sweetie. Chris is your name, right? Hello?
Yeah, his name's Chris.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something. I've been married for almost 4 years. No woman wants to marry a mindset. You need to focus on your education and have something basically already done before you get your wife. I am telling you from this standpoint, because I got to have this conversation with my own sons, okay? No woman wants to basically, how can I put this? Struggle a whole lot. I mean, it's part of marriage, but I'm telling you, from a married woman's standpoint, that's not going to work. It's not. Okay? My husband adds value to me and I add value to my husband. So that definitely makes a dynamic duo. But I'm telling you, while you're still young, focus on you. Make sure that you're good, because no woman wants to marry a man that is not emotionally or financially unstable. I am telling you this. Hear this from out of a married woman's mouth. No woman wants to marry into that. I am telling you.
Absolutely. Let me, and Chris, 1 second. Let me let Suda Africana Mommy go really quickly. We're having some serious connection problems, and so I might have to start taking some people down, but we'll probably end up wrapping up soon a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of a longer stream. So Suda, go ahead.
Chris, I think that you are completely missing the point what Honest and Michael are telling you. The road to success is very lonesome, and these men, they know it. Even us as women, we also have our own purpose that we have to go through. We all on this panel, even Honest himself, I'm sure he gets texts from his friends like, hey, do you want to go for happy hour? Do you want to do dinner? Sometimes we have to say no, we can't go because we have other priorities that we want to attend to. Your main focus is getting somebody. Nobody's gonna get on the struggle bus with you, bro. I'm telling you right now. As a woman, like I'm telling you, we don't want a guy with potential. You either have it or you don't. It's just plain as simple like that. We're not getting on a struggle bus anymore. And you see, what you fail to realize is that this manosphere people, they have created you, and you are the byproduct of what they want to keep seeing. Young men like you with the mindset like you, compared to Michael, you and Michael are not far. Your age gap is not that far, and then plus you have Honest as well that's telling you, bro, get the money. Once you have the money, you have the power. The woman will follow you. You will have pick of the litter. It works like that. Even for us as women, when we become successful, the guys change in front of us. We don't see the same people anymore. We see different types of men. So you are so focused on having somebody next to you to pour into your glass and blah, blah. No, focus on filling your own glass first before you looking around trying to find somebody to pour into you. Once you are filled up to the top, you will see people will beg to pour into you. It just happens like just like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Chris, stick around this channel, Chris, because there's hope for you. To be honest, you're listening, and I know it's hard because you've been listening so much. But once again, this is why we make this channel for men like Chris who are curious, who do have questions. Suda, absolutely on point. Jedi Mike, absolutely on point. Lorena, on point. Let me go to Dasher really quickly. Dasher, I'll let you say something. I know you've been waiting for a long time. Go ahead, Dasher. Make sure you're unmuted really quickly. Dasher, make sure you unmute yourself. The floor is yours. Okay. Dasher, I tried to give you a chance. Zach, Stay Focus is back. Zach, Stay Focus is back. Zach, what did you have to add really quickly?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Zach, we hear you.
What I will say is, shout out to your platform, bro. Grow it the way you want to. Grow it the way you want to. You're your own man. But first and foremost, you really have to stop this rhetoric of talking crazy about black men. I'm gonna tell you why. Because by default,
oh boy.
All right, Zach. We'll see. We'll see you in a little bit, but Zach, maybe next stream, Zach. This is gonna be that's a long one right there. Whenever somebody says by default, we're about to get into it. Zach, next time, catch me on the next one, Zach. I promise. Catch me on the next one. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've said a lot tonight. We've said a lot. 3.5 hour live stream. The audio hasn't been the best. Zach was about to revolutionize our lives. The statistics were on the way. Kiana knew it. I saw it. I said, oh, here come the statistics. Here they come. Sherelle,
and
I'll
the
let you join
stats
the
are
panel.
far from be all and end all.
Oh, I tell you what, whenever somebody starts like that, to join the panel, there's the link really quickly. Sherelle, I know that you've been waiting. Last chance to join the panel. We're going to be wrapping this up here soon, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we do this. The manosphere is poisoning young men and their minds to try and think that life is designed for women to always have to have your back. That life is designed for women to always want to help you to do everything in life, right? We used to call men like that losers. It was socially acceptable to call men losers back in the day. It was socially acceptable to punch bullies in the face. But nowadays, it's not as socially acceptable. But there was a benefit at one point or another to having a more harsh society. The true cream of the crop always rose to the top. Aries, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, sorry I got kicked off there for a second, but I just wanted to say, I think it's so good that Chris called in tonight, and I think it's awesome that y'all are able to mentor him. Michael, the honest truth. I don't know all y'all's names, but what I want to say is I think we should take note of the fact that he's 20 years old. Okay, like this guy is 20 years old and he
Right.
hasn't figured it all out. And I think we need to acknowledge that Black women, when they're young, they haven't figured it all out either. Like, let's give each other some room to make mistakes here. Like, we don't all know what's best for us.
Good point. Really good point.
Yeah, and I've been saying that, and I've said that plenty of times. I've said that he's 20 years old, so he's a kid. You know, we've said that before when we said that on the panel, right? We're just addressing men on this panel because that's who I talk to. I talk to men, and that's who I designed this live stream to be about. I never said that 20-year-old women or men had to have it together because they don't. But we've already acknowledged the fact that he is young. He's a kid, right? So thanks for saying that. We've already been there. I see everybody in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and take us down for now, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna wrap this up. Make sure that you rejoin next time on the panel, because we're just gonna go ahead and kind of wrap this up in a little bit. Truck, thank you so much for being here, Truck. I'm gonna take you down. We'll see you on the next one, Truck. Very respectful, and I appreciate Truck's input, and it's good to have him here. Thank you, Truck. Siamese, I know you didn't say too much this time, Siamese, but make sure that you catch the next one. We'll see you on the next one, Siamese. Even the little words you said were powerful. I want to let the people who are here to have one last final word. Aries, we'll see you on the next one as well. Thank you for joining, Aries. Sherelle. Jedi, Mike, final words, then we'll go with Loren. Actually, first we'll go with Chris, then Jedi, Loren, and then Suda. Chris, Jedi, Loren, and Suda. Go ahead, Chris. Your final words. I hope to see you again.
I guess my final words. I'm listening, but I still have yet to understand. You know what I'm saying? Why I should be accepting that, like, work for everything just for somebody to finally just come in and be with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Likewise, like, to be honest, like, I'm gonna just say more stuff about myself. Like, I'm the type of guy, like, I'm not sexually active. Like, I only have, I have a low number of, and I could go out there and do, but I actually, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sexually active like that. I'm not into getting a whole bunch
Okay,
of
Chris, I'm gonna just tell you what we've been telling you. I'm gonna just tell you what we've been telling you.
Yeah.
Just focus on doing the best for you right now, man. All right, you're thinking about way too much. Just focus on doing the best for you, and we'll try and talk about this on some other live stream. Okay, I understand you feel the way you feel, but stick around. Stick around. I enjoy talking with you. All right.
All right, that's cool.
All right, man. Talk soon. Peace. All right. It was good to have that conversation. It's good to have that conversation. Much needed. Like I said, they're going after the younger minds. And once it's been instilled in them after years of appealing this rhetoric to them, it's going to be very hard to change that. So one live stream is not going to change this, but it's going to take a while. But this is why we do what we do. So we managed to catch one today. And I believe he will eventually change. It's going to take a long time, though. It's going to take a long time. Loren, your final words. I'll give your final words really quickly. I know you've been here for a while. Then we'll go with Suda. Then we'll go with Jedi.
Yeah, it's just really important that, like, these, like, young guys and, like, young girls and stuff like that, they're not, like, taking on the trauma of these old behind 50-year-old manosphere men that have been around for a long time, and they're projecting, all of their failures, all of the things that they wish they did when they were younger onto young men. And it's just crazy to see, like, a young dude is actually worried about what's going to happen 15 years from now when he should just be living in the moment. You shouldn't even be like, I can remember being so carefree and so, man, like, not 20? Even thinking about, I don't even know.
Bro,
I was traveling.
Drunk when I was 20,
yes,
man. I was drinking,
like,
smoking.
About, well, what happens when I turn 35 and then the girl only wants me? Like, what? And how are you taking on this type of thought process? This is not your problem. This is high value pimp problems. Okay, when he's wasted his life and he don't have access to the kind of women that he wants anymore because his days is used up and old, and he's trying to create fake value. He's trying to create himself in this fake value status that does not exist. It's not real. Okay, that's the whole point of the suit. It's just meant to, confuse you and blind you and make you think you're looking at something that's not really there. It's all smoke and mirrors. All right. So live your life. Like, I have no idea why these young behind kids are watching these 50-year-old men sit on YouTube like this. This is like absolutely ridiculous. So like, live your life and get your money, do what you have to do. Everything that's coming your way will come. No one's like, just live your life, you know, that's it. And just like also quickly about this whole, like, you know, this single mother, I want y'all to notice how Mr. High Value Pimp is trying to turn these women into single mothers, okay, with his advice to open your legs on the third date, okay, to high value man. What, I mean, come on. The more he can get you to depreciate your own value and lower your own value, the tighter of a position you're in, the less options you have, right? Y'all keep listening to this High Value Pimp if you want to. This dude is trash, absolute trash. And he's poisoning these young men's minds and young women's minds and married women's minds and single women's minds. Like, he's poisoning their minds. I mean, I don't know how the heck like people sit here and listen to this, but you know, THT, I'm glad you're here to balance the narrative.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Loren. It's always an honor to have you on the channel. Make sure once again to check out uniqueboutiquecandles.com. That link will be in the comment box below, as well as in the live chat right now. Loren, it's been an honor. We're going to see you on the next one, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Loren. The wonderful Loren. Always good to have her. uniqueboutiquecandles.com. Once again, I'll put that address in the search bar. Suda Africana, the floor is yours.
Yeah, no. I was like, I think it's so disheartening, honest, when we find such a young, impressionable individual on here with that mindset. It's quite scary because he's one of so many that are out there. And like, I just wanted to tell everybody that's listening, you guys just focus on your own purpose. All these other things, they fall into place. Trust and believe. Like, everybody is doing something. Lauren is running her candle company. Oh boy, even the trucker dude has a truck company. Everybody focus on your purpose and where you want to go in life. You will see the person will come. That guy, that woman that you are waiting for, dreaming of, thinking about, they will follow too. And I feel like we are making it such like don't jinx yourself, pretty much. Just don't overthink things. The only thing you should be overthinking is about how to get this bag. That's what you really need to be overthinking. Other than that, relationships and getting married one day and all these things, it's not the end all be all. And we are all not gonna it's not gonna happen on the time we want it to happen. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. So you guys, all I can say is like, just be happy. That's it.
Absolutely. I appreciate the wise words, Suda. It's always good to have you on the panel. And hopefully we'll see you again soon, all right? Thank you so much. Suda Africana Mommy, absolute fire. Just dropped in the most unique way. You know, I find it interesting how people rationalize thoughts, you know, and verbalize thoughts. And the way that Suda does it is very unique. She's wise, very wise. Wisdom is different from intellect, from intelligence. Wisdom, it just carries itself a little heavier. Jedi Mike, it's so good to have you back here. And Jedi Mike, for those of you who don't know, will be premiering a YouTube channel sometime in the future. Stay tuned in, and we'll have some more information on that. The floor is yours, Jedi Mike. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, no, this is I felt this stream, I think, even though it started one way, I think it ended another way, and I feel like for the better, because I just want, and I want this as messages to the men watching this. See, on a situation with Chris, because Chris, he's not lost. He's not lost. He just he's young, but as we all mentioned, but the thing is, we as men, we have allowed our young boys to be taken advantage of and manipulated like this, to have their, not only their innocence robbed, but have their mindset robbed in very young adolescent and productive cognitive development years. That's beneficial. We have allowed that to happen. We have allowed that to happen. And even though he's only 2-3 years younger than me, I'm coming from a place like, listen, I recently came out of this like a year or two ago, because I realized it's like, listen, like, it's time for us to get to work. That's why I have my YouTube channel situated in 2 weeks, because I have videos I'm working on editing. Is that the process starts with the young males, because they're being robbed of terms of their righteousness and what they're supposed to be as men. And see, as kings, see, one thing I know everybody talks about the movie Black Panther, but one of the great scenes in that movie when T'Challa, God rest his soul, was talking to King his father who passed away, King T'Chaka, and he asked him how can I be a king? And he says, you are a good man with a good heart, but it's hard for a good man to be a king. It's hard for us to be self-efficient and productive Black men in this day and age, because we have lost. We were out of order the way we were back in the 60s, when in the civil rights movement, when we've been taken advantage of in our property. We didn't demand it what we were was taken from us, when we asked for equality, when we gave us integration. For example, and I take much time when I give you a scenario, when you go to a Michelin star restaurant, right? There's like 3-4 months, maybe even a year reservation, right? You take your woman in there, you finally get that your spot taken, and you go in there, right? And then you look at the menu, there's filet mignon, there's lobster, there's a rack of lamb and stuff. You know, you order filet mignon, your woman asks for lobster, and then you come back, the waiter goes and takes your order, comes back, and guess what they present to you? A freaking Hungry Man TV dinner. And then you say, like, well, that's what we had left for you. As a men, we didn't say we as men historically, we said, like, okay, I guess this is what I got, take it. We as men did not say, no, this is not what I ordered, this is not what my wife ordered, take this back, give me what I ordered. That's what we have done into the community. We have to go back to. And I'm saying, when you have these pillars of actually having true masculinity, equaling of high value, high character, when you have that mindset, because like mindset without execution, fate without work is dead. That's what thing. That is the difference between actual Black men and Black boys. Because a lot of us, a lot of us in this community are grown boys, not grown men. And I'm saying, when this YouTube channel comes in 2 weeks, it's time to get to work. But that's what I have to say, man. But yeah,
Jedi Mike with that fire. We'll see you soon, Jedi. That fire on his way out. Man, I tell you what, it's always good to have men behind you. You know, good men behind you makes a huge difference. Absolutely huge difference. $5 super chat from Latoya Brown. I appreciate the love, Latoya. I appreciate the love. Also, we had a $5 super chat from Alexander. So to make sure that we check out Diamond Princesses live. I haven't heard of her. I'll check her out, Alexander. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to conclude this live. I knew it was going to be a little longer, and it's not necessarily the 6.5-hour live stream that we had in days past, but it was a very productive stream nonetheless. I want to thank everybody who's been here since the very beginning, since 0.00.00 and our time stamp on today's live. We have some who stay for the entire way, and that blows my mind, y'all. The reasons why we are getting into the analytics and starting to get new viewers, new subscribers, new minds in our word is starting to spread on the interwebs. Thank you so much. That scared me. Thank you so much for the Cash App donation. Whoever just sent the Cash App donation thank you so much, Mr. Organic. Mr. Organic Black with the $50 Cash App donation from Organic Black. Just thank her really quickly for that. Organic Black has donated some serious amount of money, and we have some serious contributors to this channel. Y'all mean the world. Y'all make this go round. It's just awesome. You know, it's awesome to be able to. It's awesome for people to be able to say, you know what, your word is so valuable. I respect this. I love this platform so much. I appreciate you so much that I'm willing to give you my money. That's like one of my biggest honors. It's the biggest honor I think anybody could really give to somebody. You know, it's really up there for me. I don't take that lightly. So I appreciate that. Yeah, that's going to conclude tonight's stream, y'all. 200 people still watching me kind of just talk about nothing right now. For all the channel members, we'll have a members only live video of the vlog dropping soon. Just give me a couple more days. It's just too much to edit. Y'all's comments are absolutely hilarious. We didn't see Maya tonight. Maya has a hilarious comment when dudes are always hating on me in the comment section. She posts the little violin emoji, the little violin with some musical notes, and then she just posts one word. The word just says cry. She always posts cry to all the dudes that are calling me a simp and a panda bear. It's hilarious. I roll every time I see it. She hasn't been here in a while, so hopefully we see Maya, aka used team pawns later. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be it. I'm rambling. I love you all. Once again, don't get too worked up on these situations. Don't get too worked up on the manosphere. If you need to, detox for a couple of days. Watch a couple of different YouTube channels for a couple of days. Switch up your analytics. Create another YouTube account. I think that really helps. Creating another YouTube account will have a recommended, or another Gmail account will have another recommended page for you, and you won't see any manosphere topics. Sometimes we need to detox, you know, because this can be a bit overwhelming. And I could tell you, as a person that can deal with a high amount of stress, at times it could be overwhelming, and but that doesn't bother me at all. I can handle some stress. I don't mind it. I'm with the smoke, right? I'm with the smoke. But that's my advice to you. If you do feel like, this can be somewhat depressing, or you're starting to get emotional, just take a couple days, create another YouTube account, and enjoy YouTube in a different way. So having said that, this has been a Truth Seeker Live production. My email section is in the about section, thehonestTruthYT@gmail.com, for all business inquiries. And if you just want to talk to me, I love talking to you as well. Until then, be safe, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your mind about you. Love your loved ones. Live every day responsibly like it's your last. I'll see you on the next live stream in a few days. Good night.